whatever consequences arose. Meanwhile, in the divine world, a portly man informed another man he was playing with that the demon seed he had planted in a certain immortal world had been destroyed. He was puzzled by this turn of events. The slender man suggested that it could be the desolated immortal world that was responsible. Surprised, the rotund man asked how he had come to that conclusion. The thin man explained that his group had injured a dragon, which he believed had crashed into the desolated realm of immortals. Although there was no concrete evidence, he had an intuition that something disastrous would occur if they continued on their path. The portly man conceded that there might be someone more powerful than them in the immortal world and agreed that it was time to send someone to investigate. After some time had passed, Ziyasui let out a sigh of relief and muttered that the issue had been resolved. Suddenly, a golden door materialized in the sky above, capturing Ziyasui's attention. He was taken aback as the door opened and suspected that the individual emerging was from the divine world. The mysterious figure inquired if Ziyasui was the son of the immortal emperor of that world. The stranger appeared, claiming that Ziyasui was the one who destroyed the place and inquiring about who was supporting him. Ziyasui defiantly told the stranger to dream on. The stranger murmured that Ziyasui was amazing for having the courage to fight her, and she was eager to see what he was capable of. Subsequently, she attacked Ziyasui, wondering whether his bones or his flesh would break first. Meanwhile, Boss Duan noticed what was going on with Ziyasui and promptly summoned Chopper. Kneeling before Boss Duan, Chopper received the order to go to the immortal world and assist Ziyasui, which he quickly obeyed. After some time, the stranger conceded that Ziyasui wasn't bad at resisting her power. Ziyasui, struggling, told the stranger to go to hell. The stranger's attention shifted when another person appeared. As Chopper approached Ziyasui, he grumbled, thinking that the newcomer was impressive. However, his expectations were dashed when he realized it was only a little minion. He told the stranger that he didn't have any time to play with her slowly. Astonishingly, Chopper released numerous seals, which shocked the stranger. He informed the stranger that there were over 3,000 seals, and he had just unblocked one that day, which would be sufficient to get the job done. Ziyasui, coughing blood, thought that Chopper was the kitchen knife from Chen Pingin's house. Terrified, the stranger asked who Chopper was, to which Chopper replied that she didn't deserve to know who he was. A ray of red light shone down on Chopper's hands, and, as a result, the stranger requested Chopper to wait. However, Chopper began attacking her without listening, causing the stranger to vanish in an instant. Moments later, Chopper felt irritated that even with that much power, he still missed the feeling of destroying an immortal world with a single blow. Puzzled, Ziyasui could not believe that the kitchen knife which Chen Pingin used possessed such strength. Consequently, he began to wonder about Chen Pingin's real abilities. After some time, Chopper returned to Chen Pingin's house and told himself that it felt good. Annoyed, Boss Duan inquired about what was so good about what happened. She scolded Chopper, insisting that next time he should be clean and precise. Stuttering, Chopper agreed and told her that he would go inside first. As Boss Duan set down her teacup, she noticed Ziyasui and mumbled that they would meet. Ziyasui was so certain that Chen Pingin had returned that he ordered a kitchen knife to save him. He knocked on Chen Pingin's door and mumbled that he still had something to tell Chen Pingin about the immortal world and a secret attack from someone. To his surprise, Boss Duan opened the door and asked Ziyasui what was wrong. Realizing it was his master, Ziyasui's eyes widened and he kneeled. Boss Duan responded that she was not his master and asked if he had forgotten what she told him. Ziyasui recalled that she told him to treat her as a stranger at all times, but 10,000 years ago, she had given him the heavenly law and made him the immortal emperor. Boss Duan took Ziyasui's hands in hers and explained that she understood she had only given him the law, and that she couldn't afford to be called master. She asked Ziyasui to pretend he didn't know her. She then informed Ziyasui that Chen Pingin wouldn't return until later, and invited him inside to see Xiao Linger, who gave him a menacing look. Upset, Ziyasui declined and told Boss Duan that he would visit another time. Frowning, Boss Duan reassured Ziyasui that his disagreements with Xiao Linger should be resolved eventually. Discouraged, Ziyasui muttered that the reason Xiao Linger didn't want to see him might be related to her mother. Boss Duan interrupted Ziyasui's explanation, telling him that she already knew the ins and outs and wasn't interested in hearing it again. Flustered, Ziyasui conceded that it was only natural for her to know. Relieved, Ziyasui learned that Chen Pingin and Boss Duan were living together, as he had assumed that Chen Pingin's adversary was Boss Duan. He then realized that the two of them were living together. Meanwhile, in the divine world, the fat man couldn't believe that the person they had just sent to the immortal world had been killed instantly and her soul destroyed, which surprised the thin man. The thin man, spooked, mentioned that the person they had just sent was one of the best in the upper mid-range of the divine world, and she was killed in an instant, with the cause and effect being blocked. The fat man asserted that there was only one person with such strength. The thin man wondered if it was the eternal god emperor who was in seclusion and proceeded to ask about his connection with the immortal world. Becoming agitated, the fat man admitted that he didn't know because the god emperor was one of the most important figures in the divine world, and he wondered what the god emperor's intentions were by doing that. He then suggested that they should go meet the God Emperor and ask for an explanation. The God Emperor, at the pinnacle of the God realm, asked the two men why they had come to his place. Upon informing them that he had just emerged from seclusion and was still gaining strength, the fat man, visibly angry, responded that the God Emperor was supposed to maintain the neutrality of the three domains and allow them to develop freely. He then questioned the God Emperor about his intention in attacking his demon domain. In agreement, the thin man chimed in, informing the God Emperor that they had come to seek an explanation. However, the God Emperor firmly rejected the accusation of him attacking their demon domain. The fat man, raising his voice, yelled at the God Emperor, telling him that the soul of the person he sent to the immortal world had been destroyed and blocked. Consequently, he demanded an explanation. The God Emperor, standing up, inquired the fat man as to why the cause and effect were blocked. Caught by surprise, the fat man admitted that he was right. The God Emperor, realizing that there was no one else who could block the cause and effect except for two people, smiled and laughed. Amused that he had learned something about the two unknown individuals, he asked them to tell him everything they knew. Meanwhile, at Beast Mountain, Liu Shuai asked Chen Pingyan if he was sure about making the bears their training partners. Chen Pingyan assured them that he had used a secret treasure to make the bears listen to his dispatch for a brief period of time, and they could practice with confidence. Pan Hang, intrigued, pondered the type of secret treasure Chen Pingyan had used to control the demonic beasts. As he did so, he realized that Chen Pingyan was the one who had beaten him up the other day. Chen Pingyan, however, denied the accusation, stating that he had only discovered the treasure in the last few days and that it wasn't him. Blushing, Pan Hang told Chen Pingyan to forget about it, admitting that he deserved it for not treating him right that day. He mused that with Chen Pingyan on their team, they had a good chance of winning the tournament, which he noted was crucial to Tian Shanshan. According to Pan Hang, Tian Shanshan was unable to form a team because Tian Leichai had stumbled in secret. He added that Chen Pingyan must be wondering how they became the way they are now. Chen Pingyan, uninterested, wasn't curious at all and halted Pan Hang from continuing. He informed Pan Hang that he was simply participating in the competition to achieve his own goals, and that their meeting was just a matter of fate. This left Pan Hang perplexed. Chen Pingyan emphasized that as long as they win, that was all that mattered. The next day, at the tournament arena, Chen Pingyan tied up his dog, informing it that he wouldn't be able to compete alongside him. He asked the dog to stay obediently near the tree. Gently patting the dog, Chen Pingyan assured it that he would return as soon as the tournament was over. As Chen Pingyan walked away, he accidentally bumped into a stranger and promptly apologized. The stranger, upon noticing Chen Pingyan's sword, realized that it wasn't an ordinary weapon, and that she had seen it somewhere before but couldn't quite recall where. Reminding herself not to be distracted any longer, she knew she needed to bring the Firebird back or face severe scolding upon her return. Suddenly, the strange girl had an idea. If Chen Pingyan's sword was truly a treasure, bringing it back could compensate for the loss of the Firebird. Determined, she planned to enter the tournament. Meanwhile, in the resting area by the arena, Guo Xian called out to Moyi. Tian Leichai inquired if Moyi was the one being summoned. Moyi replied that she had never seen Guo Xian before and asked one of their teammates if he knew who the stranger was, to which he answered that he did not. Slyly, Guo Xian cast a deceiving spell on them, chiding them for not recognizing her as the most important member of the team. With a smile, she knew her spell had worked. Noticing Guo Xian, the saintess of the Yunji sect's immortal realm, Bronze Sword, thought to himself that there had been a lot of familiar faces in the mortal world recently. Tian Shanshan informed her teammates that the tournament was divided into 2 rounds, the first round being the arena, and the second, a team match. She expressed confidence in their ability to win first place, but emphasized the need for caution. Chen Pingyan then asked Tian Shanshan if he could go first in the first round of the tournament. He explained that, as the weakest member of their team, the other teams would likely withhold their strongest members from participating in the arena, conserving their Kai for higher scores in the team match. Liu Shuai concurred with Chen Pingyan and proposed to Tian Shanshan that they send him first. Tian Shanshan agreed, privately thinking that Chen Pingyan was the strongest among them. Upon learning he would be first, Chen Pingyan was overjoyed, recalling his last fight with Moyi and how he had discovered his ability to learn other people's martial arts skills at a glance. He eagerly anticipated competing in the tournament to gain more skills for free and make a fortune. However, Liu Shuai warned Chen Pingyan about the prince also competing in the tournament, and urged him to exercise caution. Chen Pingyan reassured Liu Shuai that he wouldn't hold back and that there was no need to worry. Feeling anxious, Liu Shuai mumbled that the king had begged him to pass on the warning, fearing that Chen Pingyan might accidentally cripple the prince. Eventually, Chen Pingyan faced off against the crown prince, Yang Ming, in the first round of the tournament. Upon realizing who his opponent was, Chen Pingyan inquired if Yang Ming was indeed the crown prince. Yang Ming, recognizing his benefactor, assumed that such a high-level person would also attend the tournament. Chen Pingyan saw this as a fantastic opportunity, believing that as a prince, Yang Ming must possess some valuable martial arts skills. However, Yang Ming conceded without fighting Chen Pingyan. As Yang Ming forfeited, someone in the arena recognized Chen Pingyan as their savior from a beast tied a few days prior. The other participants agreed, having also been saved by Chen Pingyan, and consequently surrendered without a fight. Confused and enraged, Chen Pingyan found the situation increasingly outrageous, wondering if it was a tournament or a Thanksgiving gathering. Had he known, he wouldn't have gone first, as he hadn't learned a single move. At this point, Moe stepped forward, telling Chen Pingyan that he didn't know what kind of trick he'd used, but he wouldn't let him off the hook. Chen Pingyan responded, relieved that someone was finally willing to fight. Moe enveloped his sword with ki, vowing to make Chen Pingyan suffer. However, Chen Pingyan was disappointed to see Moe again, wishing for a different opponent. Seeing Chen Pingyan's disappointed expression, Moe became furious. Chen Pingyan then insulted Moe's sword, claiming it was inferior to his own. Moe retorted that no one had asked about his sword, and declared that he wouldn't use it to avoid accusations of bullying. As Chen Pingyan prepared to attack, Moe recalled that his sword had been discovered in a secret realm and was highly coveted by top powerhouses on the mainland, as it was a spiritual weapon. Chen Pingyan then shattered Moe's sword with a swift slash, leaving him shocked. He told Moe that his weapon was terrible, and it infuriated him. Moe, stunned, couldn't believe that Chen Pingyan's seemingly inferior magic weapon could break his spiritual weapon. Chen Pingyan admitted it was his mistake for mistaking Moe's identity that day, but he'd attacked him because Moe had called him trash. Moe argued that if Chen Pingyan were to use a weapon, it would be shameless. Chen Pingyan responded that he had already been shameless twice in public, and that he didn't care. He then remarked that cutting Moe with a single sword wouldn't look good. Moe felt a sense of relief, thinking that as long as Chen Pingyan didn't use a sword, everything would be fine. However, Chen Pingyan surprised Moe by taking out another sword, declaring that slashing him with two swords would be more stylish. Stunned, Moe admitted defeat. Subsequently, Chen Pingyan told Moe that he liked the sound of surrender and that he would let him go for good. One of Yang Ming's men was taken aback when Moe admitted defeat and that his best sword had been slashed by someone in a single strike. Dejected, Moe stepped down, reflecting on what had happened. Yang Ming was so taken with Chen Pingyan's sense of humor that he assumed Moe and Chen Pingyan were fighting and felt compelled to inform his father, the king. Meanwhile, round 10 began with Chen Pingyan taking on Guo Xian in the arena. Guo Xian muttered something about Chen Pingyan's sword. Chen Pingyan's eyes grew wide as he saw Guo Xian as a lost child, to which Guo Xian responded that Chen Pingyan's family is a whole child. Consequently, Guo Xian proceeded to humiliate Chen Pingyan. Chen Pingyan doubted if Guo Xian was really a contestant and that she was noisy. Guo Xian informed Chen Pingyan that she was interested in his sword and asked him if he wanted to wager it on their match. Chen Pingyan questioned Guo Xian how she wanted to bet. Guo Xian grinned as she replied that if Chen Pingyan loses, she will take his sword, and if she loses, she will give herself. Unimpressed, Chen Pingyan declined as he was not interested in her bet. Guo Xian was stunned after hearing what Chen Pingyan said and thought how it was possible that the control skill didn't work on Chen Pingyan. She clenched her fist and told Chen Pingyan that because he was ignorant, she would take his sword for herself. Determined, Guo Xian summoned a blue hawk and was about to attack Chen Pingyan. Chen Pingyan's eyes grew bright as he saw a new technique. She slashed at Chen Pingyan, whom Chen Pingyan had avoided, leaving Guo Xian speechless. Chen Pingyan appeared on Guo Xian's back, surprised that he had learned her skill with just one look. Guo Xian turned around and attacked Chen Pingyan, and she wondered why he was using the same body technique she was. She inquired as to where Chen Pingyan learned his body technique. Annoyed, she informed Chen Pingyan that it was a secret technique that had been passed down in their sect. Chen Pingyan responded that he had just learned it. Guo Xian doubted Chen Pingyan and told him that he was a liar. Chen Pingyan retorted that he did not lie about his technique and suggested that they compare their martial arts skills rather than their body technique. Guo Xian agreed, thinking that now that the secret law had been revealed, the truth didn't matter because she couldn't let Chen Pingyan live while unleashing her sword. A huge amount of ki covered the arena. One of the audience members murmured that Guo Xian was wielding a supreme spiritual weapon, and that there weren't many weapons of that caliber on the entire continent. Guo Xian cast Supreme Master Gu Shifeng, hiding the shape and will of the sword. Thousands of ki swords appeared around Guo Xian. Chen Pingyan wondered why cultivators enjoyed reading mantras. Intrigued, he attempted to imitate Guo Xian's technique. Meanwhile, Guo Xian explained to Chen Pingyan that each sword she summoned represented a realm and that it was the most powerful martial art in their sect. Her eyes widened as she noticed Chen Pingyan using the same technique as her. Perplexed, Chen Pingyan wondered what Guo Xian was saying. Guo Xian, having no idea who Chen Pingyan was, mumbled that she had never heard of a genius of that level in the immortal world, so she assumed he was not mortal. She held her sword and muttered that she thought she would defeat Chen Pingyan that day. However, Guo Xian detected the aura of the fire bird and told Chen Pingyan not to run away and wait for her to come back to resume their fight. Chen Pingyan, equally perplexed, told Guo Xian to wait before leaving, asking her how to undo the technique. Chen Pingyan grew concerned when he noticed the crowd's anxious expressions. The crowd fled as they recognized Chen Pingyan as a murderer. It was then that Chen Pingyan noticed a system message popped up stating that his new mission was to let everyone in the kingdom know that he exists. The system congratulated him, but Chen Pingyan was enraged at the message, stating that he didn't want them to know about him in a bad way. He asked the system for help to think of a solution. After a while, everything returned to normal. Yang Ming took the stage and informed the people that since no one was participating in the next fight, he declared that the team of Tian Shan Shan had won the first place in the competition. Tian Shan Shan whispered to Liu Shuai that the outcome was unexpected and that they didn't appear to have done anything. Liu Shuai responded, saying that as long as Chen Pingyan was having fun, that was all that mattered. Tian Shan Shan mumbled that Chen Pingyan didn't look happy. Chen Pingyan was indeed embarrassed because he expected to look good and not like a devil, since it was the first time he was able to make a name for himself in the world of cultivation. Yang Ming smiled and comforted Chen Pingyan, telling him not to worry and that he'd arrange a door-to-door explanation for the people later to clear up the misunderstanding. Chen Pingyan thanked Yang Ming. Yang Ming informed Chen Pingyan that a banquet would be held in the palace later that night to commemorate his birthday, and he invited Chen Pingyan to attend. A system message appeared, leading Chen Pingyan to believe that he would be unable to attend the banquet. He declined Yang Ming's invitation, saying that he would have someone bring him a gift instead. Chen Pingyan informed his teammates that he couldn't stay for long due to other reasons, and he hoped for their forgiveness. Tian Shanshan remarked that they couldn't force Chen Pingyan to stay since he had said so, and she told him to look after himself. Chen Pingyan promised to see them again. Meanwhile, at Chen Pingyan's home, Chopper noticed the fire bird. He asked the phoenix if it had called the bird, and the phoenix nodded. The phoenix then told Chopper that they had taken disciples, and it was time for him to do the same. Frightened, the fire bird asked if the phoenix had called him. The phoenix nodded, and explained that the reason for calling him was to offer an opportunity. He assured the fire bird that he would become a phoenix in exchange for listening to every word he said. Trembling, the fire bird inquired about the phoenix's identity. The phoenix admitted that his chicken-like appearance must not have been a pleasing sight. Then, he transformed into a heavenly phoenix, causing the fire bird to sweat. Next, the phoenix introduced the dragon inside the pool, which had previously been a black serpent but had now evolved into a pseudo-dragon. He told the fire bird that although his foundation was weak, all he needed was a year, and he guaranteed that he would become a phoenix. Eagerly, the fire bird accepted the offer. Meanwhile, Guo Xian yelled at the fire bird, asserting that just because he was hiding in someone else's yard didn't mean she couldn't find him. Shocked by what she saw in the yard, she thought that everyone's aura there was stronger than an immortal emperor by 10,000 times. Puzzled, Guo Xian wondered where in the world she was. Chopper and the phoenix noticed that Chen Pingyan was coming back, which made the fire bird curious about what was happening. The phoenix told the fire bird to stop talking and find a way to hide, leaving Guo Xian confused. Guo Xian couldn't help but wonder who exactly was the person that made them so afraid. She looked back and noticed Chen Pingyan. Chen Pingyan was perplexed about what Guo Xian was doing in his house, considering that the Northern Territory was hundreds of kilometers away from his home, and he had relied on the system to get back. He wondered if Guo Xian had come for revenge. Guo Xian sobbed and confessed to Chen Pingyan that she was wrong, and it was her fault for trespassing in his courtyard and insulting him. Confused, Chen Pingyan assured Guo Xian that he was not blaming her. Suddenly, Boss Duan called Chen Pingyan and asked him what he was playing at. Chen Pingyan, intrigued, asked if Boss Duan and Xiao Linger had gone to the market. He then urged Guo Xian to get up quickly. Disappointed, Boss Duan told Chen Pingyan that if Guo Xian was the person he liked, it was no wonder he was so indifferent towards her love and affection. Concerned, Chen Pingyan asked Boss Duan to let him explain. Xiao Linger interjected, accusing Chen Pingyan of being a pervert. Frightened, Guo Xian concluded that there were unexpectedly many terrifying people known as masters, and Chen Pingyan's cultivation must have been fake. She believed that Boss Duan's strength was equally unfathomable, as if she could make her vanish into thin air with a single thought. Guo Xian noticed Xiao Linger and assumed she was the daughter of Chen Pingyan and Boss Duan, as she didn't appear to be older than 12 years old and was already in the immortal realm. Finally, Boss Duan extended a hand to Guo Xian and asked if she was okay. She told her that she hadn't seen her in that town before and kindly invited her inside for a cup of tea. Meanwhile, from Guo Xian's perspective, Boss Duan appeared to be threatening her, which scared her to death. Consequently, she turned down Boss Duan's offer and began to walk away, ultimately fleeing the scene. Afterward, Boss Duan mumbled to herself, noting that Guo Xian didn't even let her bother sending her out. At this point, Chen Pingyan intervened, telling Boss Duan that the situation wasn't what she thought it was. Amused, Boss Duan grinned and teased Chen Pingyan, calling him adorable and asserting that he didn't need to explain such things to her. Feeling embarrassed, Chen Pingyan blushed and wondered if Boss Duan was correct, questioning why he was bothering to explain the situation at all. Subsequently, Boss Duan informed Chen Pingyan that they had known each other for almost 5 years and suggested that they change the way they addressed each other. She could call him Pingyan, and he could call her Zin Zin. Embarrassed, he called her Xin Xin. Upon uttering her name, Chen Pingyan suddenly realized that it sounded familiar, as if he had heard it before. The music softly played, and the door slowly opened, revealing a beautiful bride, Miss Zhang Yuxin, who was accompanied by her father. Meanwhile, Chen Pingyan was reminiscing when he suddenly realized that Boss Duan was his wife in his previous life, Zhang Yuxin. Upon seeing his surprise, Zhang Yuxin paused time. She muttered that she didn't think changing her name would be enough to weaken the seal. Then, she apologized and told Chen Pingyan that, due to the plan, she couldn't let him remember everything, so she had to seal his memories again and that he would have to wait a little longer. As she resumed time, Zhang Yuxin told Chen Pingyan that he had been holding her for quite some time. Flustered, Chen Pingyan couldn't help but think that what he felt at the time was strange, as if he had forgotten something important. He then realized that he had left his dog at the tournament venue. Meanwhile, the dog was frowning, feeling that Chen Pingyan had forgotten about him. Zhang Yuxin noticed the fire bird nearby, which caused the creature to tremble in fear, thinking that she would chase it away. However, Zhang Yuxin mumbled that she would forget about it and just give them some compensation. On the other hand, Guo Xian felt relieved to have finally escaped the yard. A system message appeared, which surprised her greatly. In the immortal realm, Yu Donglai, the Yunji sect elder, was enraged after learning that the fire bird had gone missing and that it was important. Zhang Linyi tried to calm him down, telling him not to be angry because he had just emerged from a closed-door cultivation, and she had already dispatched Guo Xian to retrieve the fire bird. She couldn't help but wonder why not only did Guo Xian lose the fire bird, but she also had to face the elder alone. Enraged, Yu Donglai asked Zhang Linyi why she was still there if Guo Xian hadn't caught the fire bird yet. Zhang Linyi explained that she had been the only one managing the sect while he was in closed-door cultivation, and that she was unable to leave the sect, which is why she sent Guo Xian to retrieve the firebird. Yu Donglai, holding a bat, told Zhang Linyi not to give him excuses. He proceeded to scold her, saying that as Guo Xian's master, her disciple's mistake was also hers. Anxious, Zhang Linyi acknowledged that she knew how Yu Donglai treated Guo Xian as if she were his granddaughter, but she had also been taught by Yu Donglai that he could not be biased. At that moment, Guo Xian informed them of her return. Annoyed, Zhang Linyi thought that Guo Xian had returned just in time and that due to her playfulness, she had lost the firebird. Upon noticing Yu Donglai, Guo Xian happily hugged him, saying she had missed him and that he had been in closed-door cultivation for 10 years. Yu Donglai responded that Guo Xian had grown so much but remained as lovely as ever. Furious, Zhang Linyi couldn't help but wonder why the elder was still so good to Guo Xian, even though she was the one who had lost the fire bird. Yu Donglai then asked Guo Xian if she had caught the fire bird. Guo Xian frowned, responding that she hadn't retrieved it and it appeared she wouldn't be able to get it back. Meanwhile, Zhang Linyi became excited as she imagined the elder teaching Guo Xian a lesson. At that moment, Yu Donglai raised his bat and asked Guo Xian to wait for a while as he intended to teach her master a lesson. Surprised, Zhang Linyi was taken aback and wondered why he was targeting her. Quickly, Guo Xian grabbed Yu Donglai's clothes and asked him to calm down. She informed Yu Donglai that, while she did not succeed in retrieving the firebird, she had gained a fantastic opportunity that would bring them one step closer to becoming dragons. Enraged, Zhang Linyi told Yu Donglai that Guo Xian had become a liar and expressed concern about her future if he continued to spoil her. Yu Donglai told Zhang Linyi to shut up and let Guo Xian speak. Guo Xian went on to tell them that she chased the firebird into a mortal's courtyard, where she encountered many terrifying supreme beings, each with an aura stronger than an immortal emperor of the heavens. She added that the owner of the yard could destroy the immortal realm on a whim. Both Yu Donglai and Zhang Linyi were perplexed, and Zhang Linyi murmured that Guo Xian was clearly lying. Yu Donglai warned Guo Xian that lying was bad and that no one would believe her in the future. However, he directed his rage at Zhang Linyi, which left her wondering why. Zhang Linyi became enraged and told Guo Xian to go confess her wrongdoing and ask for forgiveness, insisting that whatever she said wasn't true. However, Guo Xian pouted as she denied lying, claiming that Chen Pingyan had given her the law of heavenly technique as compensation. Perplexed, Yu Donglai inquired if the heavenly technique was the one used by the immortal emperor, to which Guo Xian proudly agreed. Consequently, Yu Donglai grabbed Guo Xian and warned her not to lie or else he would have no reason to beat up her master, prompting Zhang Linyi to comment on her ingratitude. Fuming, Zhang Linyi assumed that Guo Xian was using the heavenly overlord tactics as an excuse, believing the immortal emperor kneeling in Chen Pingyan's courtyard was more likely than what Guo Xian claimed. In response, Guo Xian took out a book and asked Yu Donglai to look. Surprised, Zhang Linyi mumbled that Guo Xian really had it. Skeptical, she thought it must be a fake, vowing to ram herself into the wall if proven wrong. Astonished, Yu Donglai confirmed it was the heavenly overlord technique. Upon learning the truth, Zhang Linyi rammed herself against the wall. Guo Xian inquired as to what Zhang Linyi was up to which Zhang Linyi replied that she was fine, but her worldview had collapsed. Yu Donglai's eyes sparkled as he wondered if Guo Xian was telling the truth. Proudly, Guo Xian confirmed that her words were indeed true. Yu Donglai believed that it was all fate and that the person Guo Xian met in the tournament may not be simple. Guo Xian told Yu Donglai that she had the same thought but was politely driven away in the end. adding that Chen Pingyan didn't seem to want to be bothered. Yu Donglai muttered that the situation was truly troublesome. Guo Xian cheerfully informed them that Chen Pingyan had a good relationship with several young members of the team, and that the tournament was being held in honor of the prince's birthday. She believed they could indirectly please Chen Pingyan through the prince and his team. Yu Donglai praised Guo Xian, telling her she had grown up. He then turned to Zhang Lini, advising her to learn from her apprentice. Yu Donglai reassured Guo Xian that, even though the Firebird was lost, she had done a good job. Zhang Lini clenched her fist, resenting that Guo Xian received all the credit while she was the one who got beaten. She calmed herself down, reminding herself that Guo Xian was her disciple. Confused, Guo Xian asked if Zhang Lini was okay. Enraged, Zhang Lini said nothing, reflecting on how she had been taught for years, coaxed by crying, and beaten when she did something wrong. Meanwhile, in the courtyard of the warrior kingdom, Tian Shanshan asked Liu Shuai if that was what Chen Pingyan had asked him to buy for the prince. Liu Shuai enthusiastically agreed, stating that it was indeed unique. However, they thought that Liu Shuai had been scammed. Subsequently, Liu Shuai informed them that when Chen Pingyan left, he gave him 110,000 spirit stones, asking him to buy a gift for the prince. As for the remaining 10,000, he decided to pick a gift for himself. With pride, Liu Shuai declared that no one could fool him. Curious, Pan Hang wondered if it would be possible to simply buy some ordinary gifts, and asked Liu Shuai if he might have misunderstood Chen Pingyan's words. In response, Liu Shuai mentioned that Pan Hang had noticed Chen Pingyan's profundity, and must have had his reasons for doing so. Tian Shanshan then inquired where Liu Shuai had obtained the 2 rocks. He stated that he didn't know him and that the person appeared to be normal. Chopper called Liu Shuai, telling him that his bones were incredible and his temperament extraordinary, adding that meeting him was fate. Lastly, Chopper informed Liu Shuai that he had acquired a significant treasure, and would take a closer look at it. Tian Shanshan wondered if Liu Shuai would really give the rocks later on during the banquet. Liu Shuai responded, admitting that it did seem a little difficult. After all, he didn't know what the stones were for. Pan Hang retorted, reassuring Liu Shuai that he shouldn't be worried. Curious, Liu Shuai asked Pan Hang if he could tell what was special about the stones he had bought. Pan Hang answered that he didn't know. However, since Liu Shuai's family had prospered, nobody would mind what he gave to the prince. Worried, Liu Shuai mumbled that the only way to find out what it was would be during the banquet. After some time, people congratulated the prince on his birthday. Yang Ming told everyone to forget the formalities and do as they pleased. One of the palace servants took out a treasure sword and informed the prince that it was a gift from the prime minister's son. Additionally, the treasured spirit grass came from the alchemist union. Another gift from the state advisor's son was high-quality body armor. Liu Shuai began to sweat, panicking, and thought he was done. He wondered if he should just give his gift to the prince in private later. He noticed Yang Ming's gaze and decided to look away. Despite his worries, Liu Shuai decided to trust Chen Pingyan. As they turned around, they noticed that a group of people emerged from the portal. Yang Ming was taken aback, thinking the key levels of those 3 people were frightening. Liu Shuai, still sweating, recognized one of the immortals as the one who fought Chen Pingyan. He wondered if they had come for vengeance. Yang Ming greeted the 3 seniors, introduced himself, and asked why they had come. Yu Donglai assured Yang Ming that there was no need for concern, as they were only visiting to attend the banquet and present him with a gift. Yang Ming was surprised and believed that Chen Pingyan had sent them to attend his birthday. Duo Xian inquired of Liu Shuai whether Chen Pingyan would be present. Liu Shuai informed them that Chen Pingyan would not be arriving, and that he had been asked to present the prince with a gift in his stead. Disappointed, Yu Donglai mumbled that it was a pity, however, they hadn't come just to see Chen Pingyan. Yu Donglai then took out a present from his hand, a talent token that was extremely rare in the immortal world, and presented it as a gift to Yang Ming. Yu Donglai informed Yang Ming that, after a certain time, he would be able to reach an immortal body and future breakthroughs would happen smoothly. Grateful, Yang Ming expressed his thanks to the senior. Yang Ming was taken aback when Liu Shuai presented Chen Pingyan's gift. Liu Shuai informed Yang Ming that he had no idea what the stone was for and that the purchasing process had been strange. He told Yu Donglai that he believes the function of the stone can only be discovered when he offers the gift. Moreover, because he appeared just as he was about to give it, he reasoned that Yu Donglai might know the function of the stone. Yu Donglai murmured that Chen Pingyan had predicted that he would go to the kingdom, that no one would recognize the rock, and that it would be useless. Subsequently, he informed them that it was a conversion stone and a material used to make the talent token he had just given them. Furthermore, based on its size, it should be able to make 3 pieces. Yu Donglai wondered what Chen Pingyan's intentions were. Upon reflection, Yang Ming realized he already had a token stone, which he assumed Chen Pingyan wanted him to give to his team. Consequently, he gave Tian Shanshan, Pan Hang, and Wang Dagui the 3 pieces of talent token. Tian Shanshan was hesitant to accept the gifts and informed Yang Ming that they were Chen Pingyan's gift to him. Reassuringly, Yang Ming responded not to be worried as it was also what Chen Pingyan wanted. Liu Shuai presented a small stone to Yu Donglai and inquired as to its purpose. Surprised, he asked Liu Shuai to be his disciple. Yu Donglai realized that not only had Liu Shuai correctly predicted Chen Pingyan's intention, but he had also been bestowed with an extremely rare and superior conversion stone. He believed that perhaps the hegemony technique wasn't given to them solely because of the fire bird. Subsequently, Liu Shuai kneeled and greeted Yu Donglai as his master. Meanwhile, Chen Pingyan awoke with the impression that he was not in Boss Duan's room. He was fuming, mumbling that he felt a sense of loss. Upon seeing Chen Pingyan, Zhang Yuxin grinned. Chen Pingyan received a system message stating that breakout mission rewards had been settled, and the awarding of rewards would begin while the next breakout point had opened. The system rewarded Chen Pingyan with 1.5 major realms, allowing him to reach the 5th level of the nascent soul. Amazed, Chen Pingyan mumbled that he had only completed one stage and immediately jumped to the 5th level of the nascent soul. He mused that if he completed 100, he would become more invincible and that he had unlocked new functions. The system then showed Du Yuzi, which made Chen Pingyan surprised. Annoyed, Chen Pingyan threw the system and mumbled that it was broken. Following the system's instructions, Chen Pingyan scrolled down, and a variety of rifle weapons appeared, along with a small bike. He imagined himself riding on his small motor, claiming that it would never get stuck in traffic. Cringing, he thought it was so weird. A system message popped up, stating that Chen Pingyan had completed the first task, and was given the choice to choose the method of acquiring the exchange points himself. Chen Pingyan mumbled that he needed to think about it carefully. He considered that there were 3 intensities based on the level, and that the first 2 operations were the same, both of which were passive acquisition. And the third option required him to ask in person, and if the person responded positively, he would receive exchange points. Grinning, Chen Pingyan realized that the third option had a loophole. He chose the third option. Upset, Zhang Yuxin mumbled that she had already made it easy for Chen Pingyan. She wondered why he had immediately eliminated the 2 correct answers. She believed that Chen Pingyan might be doing it on purpose. The system stated that the method for obtaining an exchange point had been confirmed. After a while, Chen Pingyan called Xiao Linger and asked her if she liked him with a creepy look. Cringing, Xiao Linger ran to Zhang Yuxin and reported that something bad had happened, and Chen Pingyan had slept until he became stupid. Chen Pingyan grabbed Xiao Linger and told her to stop shouting, urging her to simply answer his question. Xiao Linger responded that she disliked Chen Pingyan because he constantly scolded her, and even confiscated her fruits. Frowning, Chen Pingyan promised Xiao Linger that he would no longer scold her and asked her to tell him that she liked him. Angry, Xiao Linger refused to admit that she liked him. Just then, Zhang Yuxin interrupted and called out to Chen Pingyan, muttering about the lively commotion early in the morning and wondering if anything good had happened. Xiao Linger clung to Zhang Yuxin and told Chen Pingyan that she only liked Zhang Yuxin. Irritated, Chen Pingyan realized that it had only been a few days since Xiao Linger quickly switched sides. Zhang Yuxin reassured Xiao Linger, saying that this was considered quite good because someone had asked her whether she liked him or not, and she wasn't that lucky. Blushing, Chen Pingyan stuttered, informing them that he was going to leave. Meanwhile, in Qingyuan Town at Canbao Pharmacy, a stranger told a boy that he was working hard that day and asked what he was reading. The boy answered that he recently found a medical book to read, but the content was strange. He informed his master that the man in the book was a wandering doctor who could cure any disease. However, the only thing he couldn't cure was a man who liked another man, and the male protagonist was competitive, refusing to give up until he was cured. He informed his master that, at the end of the story, the protagonist was also infected. Distressed, the master wondered if the boy was sure it was a medical book. The boy informed his master that the title of the book was Dragon Yong's Goodness, and he asked if such a disease existed in reality. The master responded that there were records about the disease and it could be around them, proving tricky to handle. Chen Pingyan arrived and greeted the master, asking how their business had been recently. Surprised, the master wondered if Chen Pingyan was sick. Chen Pingyan thought that if he hadn't known he was a doctor, he would have gotten angry. He informed the master that he came just to chat with him and asked the master if he liked him. The master told Chen Pingyan that he liked him because Chen Pingyan was willing to help the people in the town and was kind to others. He realized the book the boy had read and asked Chen Pingyan if the like he meant was decent. Chen Pingyan retorted that it was a little decent. The master retreated and informed Chen Pingyan that he was not only sick but also had an odd taste. The master ran off, asking his disciple to take care of Chen Pingyan. Stunned, Chen Pingyan thought that he only wanted to earn points and wondered what the old man was thinking. Chen Pingyan turned towards the boy and thought that he was young and shouldn't have any strange ideas. He asked the boy if he liked him. Terrified, the boy asked Chen Pingyan not to come near him. The boy ran and told Chen Pingyan that he wouldn't fall for his trick. Chen Pingyan was stunned by what happened. Subsequently, a system message popped up, stating that the preparation for the second level was complete. Meanwhile, in Dincheng Kingdom, Chen Pingyan's transfer succeeded. Feeling despair and wanting to die, he not only failed to see his points, but he was also misunderstood in an unusual direction. He wondered how he could return to town. He started to believe that the system might have cheated. However, the system informed Chen Pingyan that the acquisition method was his choice and had nothing to do with the system. Another message appeared, stating that it served him right. Chen Pingyan retorted that he didn't know people would think that way. Mumbling to himself, he realized that if he asked around again, the genre of the manhua would have to change. Chen Pingyan opened the system to look at his task. According to the system, Chen Pingyan's name in that kingdom was Zhen Denteng. With that name, he would join the Danuan sect, and most people in the sect would admire him for his alchemical skills. If the task was completed, Chen Pingyan would be rewarded with a major realm and a special gift. Sighing, Chen Pingyan acknowledged that the task was alchemy-focused. He mumbled that he should first find someone who understood the local situation. Suddenly, he heard someone yell, "Stop!" A group of girls was chasing a young man, telling him he wouldn't be able to escape and asking him to stop. The stranger halted, realizing he had run the wrong way and that there was a dead end in front of him. Chen Pingyan asked the stranger if he needed help. He recognized that he was worried about how to approach people and saw an opportunity. The stranger thought Chen Pingyan had arrived at the perfect time. He asked Chen Pingyan for help. Quickly obliging, Chen Pingyan summoned a bronze sword and mumbled that he couldn't stand by and watch violence in the street. Blushing, he realized that the situation was different from what he had imagined. One of the girls said that she wanted Mr. Wan to clarify that time, and another girl retorted that she needed an answer. The girls all said simultaneously that Mr. Wan should pick one of them. Confused, Chen Pingyan left, mumbling that the situation wasn't something he could help with. He asked the stranger how he had managed that situation. The stranger thanked the girls for their kindness and informed them that he already had a sweetheart. He grabbed Chen Pingyan and told them he was the one he liked. The girls were stunned by what they heard. The system rewarded Chen Pingyan with 10 points. Feeling helpless, Chen Pingyan thought that he didn't want to obtain points in that kind of situation. The girls blushed, claiming that Prince Wang preferred males. One of the girls grinned, adding that it was much better. Chen Pingyan and Prince Wang were perplexed by the girls' comments. As they complimented Chen Pingyan on his appearance, one girl retorted that since he was a male, adding him wouldn't make a difference. Gradually, Chen Pingyan realized that the girls were far too mischievous, and if he stayed too long, he would have to deal with difficult requests. Quickly, he grabbed Prince Wang, believing that they needed to run. With his current cultivation, escaping should be a piece of cake. As Chen Pingyan carried Prince Wang, the girls shouted to catch him. He turned around, surprised to see that the girls were still in pursuit. Eventually, Chen Pingyan was panting, mumbling that he had finally shaken them off. He wondered what Prince Wang had done to make the girls so mischievous. Prince Wang blushed, feeling Chen Pingyan. Annoyed, Chen Pingyan threw Prince Wang, telling him he was disgusting. Prince Wang apologized, explaining that since he was young, he had never been carried before, and he just got carried away. Cringing, Chen Pingyan told Prince Wang not to say anything strange, and asked why he ran away if he wanted to be carried. Prince Wang informed Chen Pingyan that the majority of the girls were his junior sisters, whom he occasionally taught alchemy during the week. Consequently, he did not expect that a few touches would result in the situation they had just experienced. Chen Pingyan inquired about Prince Wang's membership in the Alchemist Guild. Prince Wang confirmed his membership, exciting Chen Pingyan, who shared that he had come to the kingdom to join the Alchemist Guild and wondered if there was any way he could do so. Prince Wang responded that Chen Pingyan arrived at the perfect time and informed him that in 3 days, the Alchemist Guild would hold a competition open only to those under the age of 30. Embarrassed, Chen Pingyan admitted that he had never refined a pill before. Prince Wang acknowledged that it would be difficult for Chen Pingyan. Nonetheless, Chen Pingyan felt relieved, knowing this information saved him the effort of poking around the city. He thanked Prince Wang, causing him to blush. Chen Pingyan told Prince Wang that he would leave and needed some time to prepare. Prince Wang asked Chen Pingyan to wait, revealing that he had a way for him to join the guild directly, but he needed Chen Pingyan's help with something. Curious, Chen Pingyan asked what kind of help he needed. Blushing, Prince Wang explained that his family had prepared a wedding for him, and he couldn't resist them. He requested Chen Pingyan to pretend, just like what he did in the alley. Chen Pingyan was taken aback, remembering that Prince Wang didn't like boys, so he quickly ran away and said his goodbyes. Prince Wang mumbled that he should have explained that he was a girl. Prince Wang recalled the woman having long hair that reached her waist, and being slim and graceful. However, due to a pill refinement accident last year, her hair got burnt. Choosing to keep it a secret, she didn't want news of that embarrassment to spread. One day, a girl addressed her as Mr. Wan and expressed her gratitude for guiding her in cultivation. To the girl's surprise, she admitted that she liked her and revealed that she was a girl. The girl cried, mumbling that she was being rejected for such a reason, and apologized for bothering her. Subsequently, she received love letters addressed to Mr. Wan. After a while, she angrily rammed her head into a hollow tree, enraged that they, too, were girls looking for a relationship with a handsome guy. Meanwhile, Chen Pingyan panted and mumbled that at least they hadn't caught up, thinking that the world was scary. Feeling relieved, he received some information about the country and a way to join the Danuan sect. He mumbled that he would try refining, as he had prepared the materials but had never tried refining before. Chen Pingyan realized that he didn't have a place for a pill furnace and a stove, and thought that Elder Gong must have won in the new sect. He asked the system to send him back. After some time, Chen Pingyan arrived at the new sect and wondered if he had come to the wrong place. To his surprise, he saw many people gathered around the gate of the peace sect. A young man was enraged, mumbling that he had been waiting all day for Murong Su to come out and declare that he was an imperial prince, adding that the sect was too aggravating. One of the strangers reprimanded him, saying that the imperial prince must be embarrassed, and that he could leave if he didn't want to wait. The imperial prince noticed the prince and princess of the most powerful empire approaching. Jen Lengxiu thought that, whether in terms of status or strength, they couldn't reach half of his level, and and wondered how they could pursue Mirong-su. Chen Pingyan greeted Zhen Lengxiu. Zhen Lengxiu grinned creepily, thinking that a villager dared to come to him, and that they were just a bunch of small fry. Zhen Zhao warned Zhen Lengxiu to keep his smile in check because it was crude. Fuming, Zhen Zhao told Zhen Lengxiu that contacting Mirong-su hadn't been easy and reminded him that he needed to restrain himself a little. Zhen Lengxiu nodded in agreement. Chen Pingyan asked Zhen Lengxiu if they were Mirong-su's friends and wondered if they would also enter the sect. Zhen Lengxiu yelled at Chen Pingyan, asserting that it was none of his business. Furious, Zhen Zhao punched Zhen Lengxiu and told him to speak properly. Subsequently, she apologized to Chen Pingyan, explaining that her brother hadn't taken his medicine that day and mentioning that she was Mirong-su's friend. Chen Pingyan informed them he was about to summon someone to open the gates and invited them to enter together. Curious, Zhen Lengxiu wondered if Chen Pingyan might have a high status and a special way to contact someone inside the sect. However, Chen Pingyan simply yelled, calling out for Grandpa Mirong and Mirong-su, asking if anyone was inside. At this point, Zhen Lengxiu began to suspect that Chen Pingyan might be somewhat foolish. The Imperial Prince informed Chen Pingyan that he must be new, and that he wouldn't be able to make Mirong-su come out even if he shouted. Unexpectedly, Mirong-su appeared to greet Chen Pingyan just as the gate opened. Blushing, the Imperial Prince couldn't believe that Chen Pingyan had managed to coax Mirong-su out. As Mirong-su proceeded to talk to Chen Pingyan, the Imperial Prince, along with the other suitors, presented her with bouquets of flowers and invited her to dinner. However, Mirong-su looked back and informed them that she was busy. She then wondered aloud why Chen Pingyan was free on that particular day. In response, Chen Pingyan explained that it had been a long time since they last met, and he had just decided to take a stroll. Stuttering, Zhen Zhao revealed to Mirong-su that she and her brother had specifically come to meet her. Recognizing Zhen Zhao, Mirong-su informed her that she did not have time to accompany them but would have someone show them around later. Both siblings were outright rejected, leaving them feeling depressed. Excitedly, Mirong-su inquired as to what Chen Pingyan was doing there. Chen Pingyan informed her that he had just come to practice alchemy and wondered if the sect had an alchemy room. Mirong-su told Chen Pingyan that they did have one and that she needed to use voice transmission to call her grandfather back. However, Chen Pingyan retorted that there was no need to disturb Grandpa Mirong and asked her to bring him to the alchemy room so he could start practicing alchemy. Mirong-su, who had rejected numerous imperial princes, surprised Zhen Lengxiu with her enthusiasm for Chen Pingyan. Zhen Lengxiu speculated that Mirong-su loved alchemy, and that Chen Pingyan happened to be extremely talented in the field. Even though Chen Pingyan was in the nascent soul realm cultivation, Zhen Lengxiu wondered if he could refine a 5th grade elixir. He then asked Mirong-su if he could accompany them to the alchemy room, explaining that he, too, enjoyed alchemy and was a 4th grade alchemist. Chen Pingyan remarked that Zhen Lengxiu didn't appear to be old yet, despite having a high level of alchemy, and invited him to accompany him. Relieved, he reasoned that he could seek advice from a 4th grade alchemist. Expressing his gratitude, Zhen Lengxiu thought that Chen Pingyan's level was high and that Chen Pingyan wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to suppress him in alchemy. After some time, at the alchemy hall, Mirong-su informed Chen Pingyan that the alchemy furnace and herbs were all prepared. Chen Pingyan thanked Mirong-su for her hard work. Zhen Lengxiu observed that those were all 1st grade herbs and the highest pill that could be made was a 2nd grade pill, which left him wondering what Chen Pingyan was thinking. Chen Pingyan asked them to wait while he read the instructions first. Zhen Lengxiu suspected it was some sort of special pill, but his attention was drawn to the book Chen Pingyan was holding. To his surprise, it was a beginner's alchemy book. He theorized that it must be a camouflage and that the person Mirong-su had taken a liking to was ordinary. Finally, Chen Pingyan lit a fire using stone. Furious, Zhen Lengxiu observed that Chen Pingyan used that kind of fire to refine pills. Subsequently, he calmed down and realized that some alchemy furnaces can be used with regular fire, so it's not surprising that the Pingyan sect has such furnaces. Meanwhile, Chen Pingyan was transferring spiritual energy in the fire. Zhen Lengxiu acknowledged that at least Chen Pingyan knew how to use spiritual energy to increase the intensity of the fire. Chen Pingyan muttered about how every type of herb needed to be refined separately and thought that it would be too much trouble. Impatiently, he grabbed the basket and dropped all the herbs together. Zhen Lengxiu was shocked and wondered if Chen Pingyan was making pills or bombs. He realized that, while it was unheard of for herbs to be handled this way, he thought that Chen Pingyan might be some kind of master. Next, Chen Pingyan grabbed the mushroom and mumbled that it needed to be more cooked. Zhen Lengxiu became enraged and was about to say something when Zhen Zhao covered his mouth, causing him to mumble words. Concerned, Chen Pingyan wondered if he may have done something wrong. Later, Chen Pingyan smelled a scent and mumbled that it was almost done. Incredulously, Zhen Lengxiu thought how it could be possible that the scent was a pill fragrance. Finally, he wondered how there could be 2 pills and that they must be the pinnacle of elixir. Mirong-su was surprised to find 2 pills and couldn't help but praise Chen Pingyan. Likewise, Chen Pingyan was also astonished that there were 2 pills, causing him to wonder if he had made a mistake or if he was a once-in-a-million-year alchemy genius. In a hushed tone, Zhen Zhao mentioned that she had observed her brother practicing alchemy for a long time, yet she had never seen him achieve such a feat. Stunned, Zhen Lengxiu found it hard to believe. Worried, Zhen Zhao speculated that her brother's brain might have been overloaded. Feeling dejected, Jen Lengxiu considered the possibility that Chen Pingyan had used some trick to produce 2 pills, as his alchemy approach was unprecedented. Soon after, Grandpa Murong arrived and called for Chen Pingyan. Jen Lengxiu greeted him, but Grandpa Murong curtly replied that he wasn't interested, leaving Jen Lengxiu feeling dismissed. Grandpa Murong informed Chen Pingyan that he should have notified them about his visit. Chen Pingyan responded that he had only come to town for a minor matter and hadn't planned anything. Grandpa Murong expressed concern about someone wanting to meet with him and not wanting to bother Chen Pingyan. Jen Lengxiu speculated that the 2 men they were discussing must be immortals because of their immense power, and he wondered if the Pingyan sect was supported by immortals. Confused, Chen Pingyan inquired if the 2 men were looking for him. Upon greeting Chen Pingyan, the 2 men noticed the aura of the bronze sword. Previously, Chen Yanming had sought help from one of the 10 Immortal Lords. The Immortal Lord had vowed to eliminate anyone who dared to challenge him, but both he and Chen Yanming were ultimately punished by the bronze sword. The Immortal Lord commended Chen Pingyan on his exceptional temperament, remarking that one could easily recognize him and questioning how someone capable of wielding the bronze sword could be ordinary. Grandpa Murong informed Chen Pingyan that the 2 men had caused trouble during the opening ceremony, but had since repented, promising to open additional branches for the sect. Chen Pingyan acknowledged their repentance and improvement. He surmised that, since they had formed a brotherhood with Grandpa Murong, they must be quite powerful. Jen Lengxiu, however, felt enraged that even the immortals were addressing Chen Pingyan as a senior and concluded that his cultivation must be fraudulent. Deciding to postpone further discussions, Chen Pingyan focused on practicing alchemy and produced another pill that yielded 2 more pills. Jen Lengxiu confessed that he couldn't comprehend what was happening. Chen Yanming asked the Immortal Lord if he had sensed something. The Immortal Lord speculated that Chen Pingyan had suppressed the medicine's potency to avoid frightening people, which had downgraded the elixir in the furnace from a high-quality one to 2 lower-quality ones. Chen Yanming struggled to understand how Tier 1 spiritual herbs could be used to create high-quality elixirs. The Immortal Lord explained that such a process was theoretically possible, even in the immortal realm, by replenishing the spiritual energy of herbs while cleansing them. This approach continuously purifies and replenishes spiritual energy but requires a tremendous amount of energy to execute. Thus, the Immortal Lord marveled at the miracle they had just witnessed. Even after shaking the world, Chen Pingyan remained calm, as if nothing had happened, according to the Immortal Lord. It seemed that Chen Pingyan had discreetly taken note of them, and the 2 pills served as a warning that he would have died a horrible death had he not taken the hint. Meanwhile, Chen Pingyan was sweating, wondering why there were 2 pills, since the manual didn't mention anything about it. Curious, he asked if they had noticed any problems. Jen Lengxiu, flustered, bowed and told Chen Pingyan that he had benefited greatly. Chen Pingyan, perplexed, wanted to know how Jen Lengxiu had benefited and asked him to teach him. He then reasoned that, based on their reactions, there should be no problem with the alchemy evaluation in a few days. At this point, Grandpa Murong asked Jen Lengxiu and Jen Zhao what they were doing there. Jen Lengxiu replied that he had come to visit, and Grandpa Murong promptly ordered them to leave. Jen Zhao, fuming, accused Jen Lengxiu of being too cowardly. However, Jen Lengxiu retorted that Chen Pingyan was too frightening, and their empire couldn't afford to offend any mountain sect, especially with the presence of 2 immortals. Furious, he questioned why Jen Zhao claimed to have a good relationship with Murong Su when it didn't appear to be the case. Jen Zhao explained that she had met Murong Su with other sect members but hadn't seen her since. Jen Lengxiu then informed his sister that their father had intended for him to get close to Murong Su in order to win the mountain sect, but there seemed to be no hope now. Jen Zhao asked her brother if the emperor had planned it, and she began to think that it might be up to her. Perplexed, Jen Lengxiu wondered who the scoundrel was that tried to covet his sister. After some time, Grandpa Murong informed Chen Pingyan that the sect was developing smoothly, and the number of disciples had doubled since the sect first opened. He added that when the 2 brothers established the branch sect, the number would increase even more. Chen Pingyan expressed his surprise at how strongly Grandpa Murong had developed the sect. Grandpa Murong responded that Chen Pingyan was too polite, as the entire sect was built on the foundation laid by Chen Pingyan, and their current achievements were also due to him. Chen Pingyan felt awkward, thinking that he hadn't done anything except pick the name. However, since he was there, he decided to try to brush up on some points. He believed that Grandpa Murong and the others were reasonable and wouldn't think strangely of him. Chen Pingyan then told everyone that he had recently developed a technique to improve ki and asked if they wanted to try it. Murong Su, intrigued, inquired about their intentions. Chen Pingyan first explained that he would ask them questions, and they would only have to answer with a simple yes or no. Subsequently, he proceeded to ask them if they liked him. Murong Su happily told Chen Pingyan that she indeed liked him. Feeling perplexed, Chen Pingyan wondered how she could have emotions. Murong Su, on the other hand, remarked that she felt refreshed and speculated if it was due to ki. Then, everyone chimed in, telling Chen Pingyan that they loved him too. Chen Pingyan reasoned that it was 10 points for each person. Grandpa Murong asked Chen Pingyan if they could talk a bit more. However, Chen Pingyan informed everyone that, according to his theory, anyone could do it, and he wouldn't lose anything. Hearing this, everyone told Chen Pingyan that they liked him, which left him shocked by the points popping up. The system informed Chen Pingyan that he had 1,000 remaining points. Exhausted, Chen Pingyan felt relieved that it was all over and that he almost couldn't pronounce the word yes anymore without making it sound strange. He then mumbled that the points were enough and asked the system if he could redeem the pistol. Chen Pingyan firmly believed that the pistol would be much more useful than any old cultivation method. Chen Pingyan remarked that, despite having shot at the range before, the pistol was much lighter than expected. He then claimed the gun was a fake because the magazine was sealed. However, Chen Pingyan decided to test it first, pointing the gun and pulling the trigger. To his surprise, a beam emerged from the pistol. Taken aback, he mumbled that it was stronger than his attack and didn't seem like a bullet, especially since the gun didn't have a magazine. After pointing the gun at a flock of birds, which promptly fled, Chen Pingyan smiled and mused that it was a gun with infinite bullets. Suddenly, a stranger approached and inquired who was there. Despite Chen Pingyan's attempts to hide his presence, the stranger found him. Confused, Chen Pingyan asked who the stranger was, but the enigmatic figure retorted that it didn't matter and that he would be troubling him. The stranger proceeded to inform Chen Pingyan that Mirong-Su was the goddess of the peace sect, and her beauty drew countless imperial princes to her. Frustrated, the stranger mocked Chen Pingyan for believing that a mere 5th level nascent soul could follow Mirong-Su obediently, thinking that Chen Pingyan had discovered her weakness. Chen Pingyan then assumed the stranger was a sycophant, referring to the same Mirong-Su based on his description. Next, the stranger emitted a key and mumbled that he would deliver justice that day. He revealed to Chen Pingyan his cultivation, which was nourished with the resources of the whole country. As the stranger prepared to attack, Chen Pingyan shot him with the gun, causing him to kneel and express surprise. Chen Pingyan mumbled that it didn't matter what kind of concealed weapon he had and asked the stranger if he was usually brave. In response, the stranger retorted that he didn't think Chen Pingyan could defeat him. Chen Pingyan pointed the gun at him again, frightening the stranger and telling him to run. Realizing that the area was not safe, Chen Pingyan decided it was better to return home early. Upon his arrival, Zhang Yuxin told Chen Pingyan that he had come back early that day. Chen Pingyan blushed, suspecting that Zhang Yuxin was purposely speaking in such a manner given her figure, and he was concerned someone might have negative thoughts. Zhang Yuxin then flirtatiously teased Chen Pingyan, asking if he was fascinated by her and suggesting that merely watching was boring. Before inviting him to sit with her, Chen Pingyan warned Zhang Yuxin to be mindful of her surroundings because Xiao Linger was still present. Zhang Yuxin turned to Xiao Linger, who responded that she couldn't see or hear anything. Puzzled as to how Zhang Yuxin could persuade Xiao Linger to go with her, Chen Pingyan handed the gun to Zhang Yuxin, telling her it was a hidden weapon. He was concerned that her daily excursions out of the mountain were unsafe. Zhang Yuxin felt flattered, assuming Chen Pingyan would keep the gun for himself and wondering if he was concerned about her. She admitted she didn't know how to use the gun but thought it was the sentiment that counted. Chen Pingyan then grabbed Zhang Yuxin's hand, telling her he would teach her. Chen Pingyan led Zhang Yuxin into the forest and instructed her to go in front of a specific tree. Zhang Yuxin agreed and telepathically told Xiao Linger to follow the plan. Xiao Linger nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, at the Yunjai Sect's Immortal Mountain, Yu Donglai believed that the Heavenly Overlord technique was powerful, and he wouldn't have to wait long to advance to the next realm. Subsequently, Xia Sui told Yu Donglai that it appeared he would catch up to him soon. Upon hearing this, Yu Donglai greeted Xia Sui, thinking that after understanding the technique, Xia Sui appeared, and if he had a breakthrough, he would shake the Immortal Emperor's foundation. Xia Sui then confronted Yu Donglai, telling him there was no need for him to be so polite because Chen Pingyan had chosen Yu Donglai. Yu Donglai was perplexed, realizing that the senior Xia Sui was talking about was Chen Pingyan, and even Xia Sui was calling Chen Pingyan a senior. Xia Sui then mumbled that he didn't expect him to obtain the Heavenly Overlord technique, and that Yu Donglai's future achievements would undoubtedly be higher than his. He wondered if Chen Pingyan gave Yu Donglai the technique to let him become the Immortal Emperor. Furthermore, if Yu Donglai became the Immortal Emperor, then he would stop being one. Xia Sui reasoned that it had to be a preparation for him to break through that layer of restriction and enter the divine realm. After some time at Chen Pingyan's household, Xiao Linger reported to Chen Pingyan that something bad had happened. The room door had been stolen. Chen Pingyan, perplexed, asked Xiao Linger when it occurred and instructed her to explain what had happened while he was away. Xiao Linger told Chen Pingyan that not long after he left, a silhouette stormed inside, and she didn't even get to react. Following that, the silhouette stole the door and ran away. Chen Pingyan, stunned, muttered that it was outrageous and wondered if there were any bored robbers. He then turned to look at Zhang Yuxin and asked her if they were the ones who removed it. Zhang Yuxin denied the accusations and told Chen Pingyan that she was with him in the forest. Chen Pingyan glared at Xiao Linger, who reasoned that she couldn't possibly remove such large doors while being so frail, unless they were watermelons. Fuming, she then told Chen Pingyan that if he didn't believe her, he could ask the neighbors, as many had been robbed. Irritated, Chen Pingyan said he would go ask because he didn't believe there were such bored robbers. After some time, Chen Pingyan asked an old man if he had heard a rumor about robbers stealing doors. The old man was fired up, telling Chen Pingyan that there were robbers who stole people's doors. Chen Pingyan was surprised to hear that it was true. The old man continued to tell Chen Pingyan that as he was about to leave, a silhouette passed him and locked onto the door. Using incredible strength, the silhouette pulled down the door with a single hand, and after stealing it, ran away carrying the door with him. The old man muttered that many people had been robbed, but the robbers robber had left them with a large sum of money. Consequently, Chen Pingyan realized that the story was becoming increasingly absurd and wondered if there were truly bored people in the world. Upset, he then told Xiao Linger that he believed her and that dozens of families in the mountain had been robbed of their doors. Zhang Yuxin patted the angry Xiao Linger and told Chen Pingyan that the door being stolen was a small matter as long as Xiao Linger was not hurt. She then asked Chen Pingyan if he had any problem with sleepwalking. Mentioning that their rooms were just across from each other, however, there was no door, and with just one look, many things could be seen. Chen Pingyan reassured Zhang Yuxin that he definitely wouldn't do strange things. Morning came, and Chen Pingyan woke up beside Zhang Yuxin, cursing. Chen Pingyan realized he hadn't slept in his room for the past few days and wondered why he ended up in Zhang Yuxin's room every morning. Just like always, he would slip away quickly, as he always does. This time, however, a hand grabbed Chen Pingyan's clothes as he was about to go. Stuttering and anxious, Chen Pingyan tried to explain to Zhang Yuxin that she needed to be patient and listen to his explanation. Zhang Yuxin then asked Chen Pingyan to lie down, and he quickly agreed. After a while, Chen Pingyan began to wonder what kind of situation he was in, while Zhang Yuxin hugged him in her sleep. Zhang Yuxin spoke up, confessing that she knew he sneaked into her room at night and slipped out in the morning. She went on to say that he could come whenever he wants and that he didn't have to be sneaky. Flustered, Chen Pingyan blushed and wondered if this was a sign and if everything was really clear. He then decided to lie down for a while. Meanwhile, a large crowd gathered at Dan Imperial Plaza, wondering why the event hadn't begun since it was already 2 hours late. Prince Wang pondered why Chen Pingyan wasn't arriving. A man informed Prince Wang that the person she had been expecting would not be coming, and the competition couldn't be postponed any longer. She then smiled as she noticed Chen Pingyan came running. Chen Pingyan thought that he was late and was lucky that the event hadn't started yet. The master of the Danyuan sect realized it was indeed Chen Pingyan. Simon Chen had convened an alchemy master meeting some time before the event and informed them that they had only one agenda: all members of the Alchemist Guild must obey Chen Pingyan unconditionally. He also notified them that Chen Pingyan liked to pretend to be low level and mingle in the crowd. He warned them not to act hastily and to understand and act on his hidden meanings. The sect master was surprised that Xiao Jun and Chen Pingyan knew each other. He assumed it was a coincidence and planned to ask Xiao Jun after the competition. Chen Pingyan whimpered his way up, mumbling that he was lucky to have caught up and that the mission was about to fail. One of the contestants questioned why Chen Pingyan arrived late and accused him of cheating. The sect master reassured the crowd that everything was fine and that the test would begin now that everyone had arrived. The contestants were irritated that they had to wait for someone, and they wondered who Chen Pingyan was. Anxious, the sect master considered what he would do if he offended Chen Pingyan as a result of his error. He then realized that Simon Chen had told them that everything Chen Pingyan does has meaning, and that because he arrived so late, it must have a deeper significance, and that his negligence had turned everyone against Chen Pingyan. The sect master believed that this must be the purpose of Chen Pingyan's late arrival, to attract the hatred of the audience. He asked the audience to remain silent before informing them that the sect had recruited 100 people and that the level of speed and quality of alchemy was their reference standard. With that, the sect leader started the exam. One of the contestants was upset and thought that if it hadn't been for Chen Pingyan, who delayed the exam, he would have had to face only half of the present candidates, giving him a better chance of winning and entering the sect. The grandson of the Danwu Empire's third emperor reasoned that since Chen Pingyan had reduced his chances of joining, he asked Chen Pingyan not to blame him for using such methods. And no one would dare to try as long as he is present, and the fire bead he purchased for a high price can control all the flames within a 10-foot radius. The man decided that he would like to see what the person, who had been treated well by Lord Wan, was capable of. Subsequently, Chen Pingyan dropped all the ingredients into the pot. Enraged, the man cursed and asked Chen Pingyan if he really knew alchemy. In response, Chen Pingyan turned around and inquired if the man was referring to him. He then wondered why the man was staring at him, and if the men of Danwu Kingdom had any strange fetishes. Furious, the man thought that if Chen Pingyan could refine a pill by casually throwing in herbs, he'd lose it. He decided to forget about Chen Pingyan, believing that his own furnace would blow him up. Determined, the man decided to eliminate those who posed a threat to him. He then grinned as he found his first target. Next, the man used a bead, which caused an explosion in his target's furnace. The announcer then announced that contestant number 15 had withdrawn from the exam due to his furnace exploding. The man grumbled that no matter how talented they were, as long as someone was in his way, they would pay for it. Following that, another set of explosions caused a few of the contestants to fail. Xiaojun was surprised that she hadn't noticed any mistakes in the other contestants' performances. She then inquired of the sect master as to why the other contestants' furnace had suddenly blown up. The sect master responded that someone was using unorthodox tactics. Soon after, he realized that it was Sun Zhigang, the playboy prince, who was ruining his father's image. Master Wan then mumbled that Chen Pingyan was something else. His refinement technique was strange, but the furnace remained stable even when the herbs had conflicting properties. He then deduced that Chen Pingyan had allowed Sun Zhigang to stand around without fear of being affected, implying that what Chen Pingyan was doing had a deeper meaning. Sun Zigeng then reasoned that all of the contestants who were significantly better than him had been eliminated, and because of his pill form, first place was guaranteed to be his. His eyes widened as the crowd yelled that Chen Pingyan had refined a pill, and the fragrance was rich. They then speculated that it could be a 4th or 5th grade pill. Enraged, Sun Zigeng cursed as he couldn't believe Chen Pingyan had outdone him. He then held the fire bead and grumbled that he wouldn't allow Chen Pingyan to form his pill. The spread of the fire surprised Chen Pingyan, who thought he had it under control. He then manipulated the fire and muttered that he couldn't let the furnace explode, or he'd fail the mission. Chen Pingyan believed that it was all over as the fire couldn't be controlled, and if it continued, the medical herb would be burned. However, he then had an idea to try using the fire to quickly form the pill. As Chen Pingyan was manipulating the fire, the pot opened. Sun Zigeng smiled, thinking his plan had succeeded. The audience was saddened and expressed regret. Despite this, Chen Pingyan grinned and announced that the pill was ready. Finally, 2 pills emerged from the pot. Chen Pingyan asked Master Wen to check the pills. Master Wen informed Chen Pingyan that both pills were 5th grade pills of the highest quality. Enraged, Sun Zigeng clenched his fist, wondering how it could be possible to make 2 pills. One member of the audience believed Chen Pingyan had obviously blown up his furnace, while another pointed out that the competition only allowed the use of first-rate herbs. Suddenly, Master Wen realized that he had been refining pills his entire life and had never heard of anyone achieving such a feat. Chen Pingyan then wondered if he had passed the exam. Master Wen happily informed Chen Pingyan that the 2 pills were enough for him to pass. However, Sun Zigeng interrupted, accusing Chen Pingyan of cheating and stating that no one had ever seen a person form a pill after blowing their furnace, let alone 2 of them. He claimed that Chen Pingyan hid the pills in the furnace in advance. Master Wen retorted that Sun Zigeng should watch his mouth, adding that the furnace had been prepared by his Danyuan sect. He then asked Sun Zigeng if he was accusing his sect. Sun Zigeng rebutted the Danyuan sect's lack of fairness and even used the entry contest to make a point. Addressing the audience, he said that Chen Pingyan had delayed today's competition, and that the Danyuan sect had never been fair from the beginning. To which the audience agreed. One person yelled angrily that if it hadn't been for the sudden explosion, no one would have guessed the furnace was haunted by a ghost. At this point, Master Wan realized that the situation was precisely what Chen Pingyan wanted. He deduced that Chen Pingyan was warning him not to meddle too much, and that if he exposed Sun Zigeng prematurely, it would jeopardize Chen Pingyan's plan. Confused, Chen Pingyan wondered why Master Wan was nodding his head at him. He then surmised that Master Wan knew the Danyuan sect was not biased and that Master knew the pills were made by him, which is why the Master let him handle the situation to evaluate his abilities. Chen Pingyan's eyes gleamed as he believed Master Wan wanted to train him. They both nodded and acknowledged that they completely understood each other. Chen Pingyan confronted Sun Zigeng and told him that he could refine a pill in front of him if he wanted, as he was accusing him of cheating. Sun Zigeng agreed and told Chen Pingyan that he would choose the furnace he would use and would supply the recipe, to which Chen Pingyan agreed. Sun Zigeng grinned, thinking that Chen Pingyan was hooked and that this time he would be merciless. Subsequently, he gave Chen Pingyan the royal family's secret recipe for realm breakthrough, telling him that if he could make the pill, he would believe him. Sun Zigeng smiled deviously, contemplating his plan, which Chen Pingyan would never see the end of. Upon examining the recipe, Chen Pingyan felt that something was amiss. Despite his lack of knowledge about medicinal herbs, he believed the recipe was inconsistent. Similarly, Master Wan thought that although he didn't know Chen Pingyan, the recipe was obviously flawed. He then wondered why Chen Pingyan wasn't saying anything. Consequently, they both misunderstood each other and believed they were being tested. Chen Pingyan suspected that the recipe was a forgery and that Master Wan was testing his judgment with it. On the other hand, Master Wan believed that Chen Pingyan must have noticed the fake recipe and wanted to take the opportunity to teach Sun Zigeng a lesson. Simultaneously, Chen Pingyan and Master Wan declared that the recipe had no problem. At this moment, Chen Pingyan realized that Master Wan had the same thought, and that he had made the correct choice. Master Wan understood Chen Pingyan. Sun Zigeng smirked and informed Chen Pingyan that the furnace he would use was the same one he had used before, assuring him there would be no problem with it. Chen Pingyan agreed. After some time, Chen Pingyan began pouring all the ingredients into the furnace. He pondered that he would simply let the ingredients fuse together and become a pill. However, Chen Pingyan was taken aback as the fire unexpectedly grew. Chen Pingyan believed that he had done nothing wrong to cause the furnace to explode. Sun Zigeng laughed and said that Chen Pingyan would not survive this time. Subsequently, he warned Master Wan to be careful, as if he were up there, his alchemy wouldn't be suspected of cheating. In response, Master Wan retorted that he knew what Sun Zigeng did and threatened him, saying that if he said anything wrong again, he would die. Chen Pingyan opened the furnace, which lit up, and he then thought that there were 2 pills, claiming to be an alchemical genius. Excitedly, he informed them that the elixir pills were done. The crowd chanted, acknowledging that Chen Pingyan really did it, and that he had real talent to learn from. Master Wan was taken aback at the pills. However, Sun Zigeng told Chen Pingyan that the pills in his hands were not real breakthrough pills. He proceeded to show the audience the real breakthrough pill, which was a gift from his father's passing. The crowd murmured, noticing that there appeared to be a difference and that the breakthrough pill Sun Zigeng received was bad. Sun Zigeng informed the crowd that Master Wang could presumably see the differences in the two elixirs. He then told Master Wan that what he had in his hand were fake pills that only looked nice. Master Wan retorted, telling Sun Zigeng that what he was holding wasn't worthy of being called breakthrough pills, which surprised Chen Pingyan. He then explained that breakthrough pills could only assist the user in progressing to the next stage, and thus utilizing its full potential when you are at a certain peak. Blushing, Master Wan informed the crowd that the pills in his hands were different, containing 10 times more of the breakthrough effectiveness, and able to make the user reach the next realm. He added that if they took the pills at the 5th stage of the nascent soul, they would jump to the 5th stage of the outer body realm, and calling the pills a breakthrough pill would be an insult. Sun Zigeng's jaw dropped as he heard the information. After some time, they announced that the recruitment was complete, and that if they were interested in the Danyuan sect, they could apply again next time. Enraged, Sun Zigeng clenched his fist and swore that Chen Pingyan's luck wouldn't be good forever. Chen Pingyan informed Master Wan that he couldn't stay in the Zong sect forever. Master Wan sighed and responded to Chen Pingyan, saying it couldn't be helped, and he wouldn't dare go against Chen Pingyan's wishes. He then asked Chen Pingyan if he wouldn't mind calling him Brother Wan. Chen Pingyan accepted Master Wan's wish to call him Brother Wan. They both thought that being able to call each other brother was a win. Brother Wan took out the breakthrough pill Chen Pingyan made and was about to give it back. However, Chen Pingyan declined, telling Brother Wan that he had no use for it and asked him to keep it instead, because he thought he might find someone to give it to. He then reasoned that eating the pills would be pointless as his cultivation base was from the system, and it would be far better to give it to Brother Wan in exchange for favors. Chen Pingyan then bid farewell as it was about to get late. While walking, he realized that Zhang Yuxin and Xiao Linger were the family's weak links, and that with a thief on the loose, he needed to find a deserted area to retreat to. Brother Wan believed he knew to whom he should give the pills and that Chen Pingyan must have had a plan in mind because he assigned it to him. Consequently, he planned to give it to Xiao Jun and ask her about her relationship with Chen Pingyan. Chen Pingyan realized after a while that he had been gone for so long, and that if he didn't bring anything back for Xiao Linger, she would definitely complain. Suddenly, he was hit by an unknown object. Chen Pingyan turned around and noticed a boy. Zhu Xiaoming apologized and told Chen Pingyan that he didn't mean to throw it, and that it would hit someone. He then offered spirit stones in exchange. Shocked, Zhu Xiaoming told Chen Pingyan that he could go back home and give it, and he promised he wouldn't run away. Chen Pingyan asked Zhu Xiaoming if it was a martial arts book and why he threw it away. He then realized that the name was full of mistakes. Zhu Xiaoming was upset and told Chen Pingyan that a scammer had told him he had a talent for martial arts, and he believed him, spending all of his money on a martial arts book. He then informed Chen Pingyan that the book had turned out to be a low yellow grade martial arts book, and that the money he spent could have bought dozens of yellow martial arts books, so he threw the book in anger, not expecting it to hit anyone. Chen Pingyan then warned Zhu Xiaoming and told him to be careful next time. He thought that the experience of being scammed could be haunting. Chen Pingyan asked Zhu Xiaoming if he could have the book if he didn't want it. Zhu Xiaoming responded that Chen Pingyan could do whatever he wanted with it. Chen Pingyan thanked Zhu Xiaoming and considered making some changes to the book. Zhu Xiaoming wondered if everything was fine now, so he could leave. Chen Pingyan then emitted a key in his hand. Zhu Xiaoming fled, thinking that Chen Pingyan's surroundings did not appear safe. He came to a halt, looking at Chen Pingyan, and wondered if the lower yellow grade martial arts were that powerful. Chen Pingyan muttered that if he changed some parts, the martial arts would be useful. As he had no idea how strong it was in combat, he wanted to try and test its power. Suddenly, a man shouted and surrounded Chen Pingyan. The man then informed his young master that Chen Pingyan was the person that His Highness had mentioned. The stranger then asked Chen Pingyan to kneel. Chen Pingyan took a step back, wondering if he had done something wrong. Inadvertently, he bumped into a huge man. The stranger questioned Chen Pingyan, asking if he was trying to run away. Subsequently, he mumbled that it seemed they needed to give Chen Pingyan a beating so severe that even his parents wouldn't recognize him. Feeling nervous, Chen Pingyan contemplated his next move. Just then, he noticed a passerby and desperately asked for help. However, upon realizing who the aggressors were, the passerby turned the other way. The stranger grinned, informing Chen Pingyan that no one was brave enough to confront him. He then ordered his subordinates to get it over with. In the midst of seeking help, Chen Pingyan unexpectedly activated the Buddhist palm technique and pushed his attacker. Puzzled, he wondered how he had managed to do it. He reminded himself not to attempt killing anyone, as he might have to use teleportation to escape. One by one, Chen Pingyan punched each of them, knocking them out. Afterward, he questioned when he had become so strong. The stranger stood up, admitting that he was wrong to hit Chen Ping'an and revealing that his father was the general of Dan Guo's army. He threatened Chen Ping'an, claiming that he wouldn't be able to leave Dan Wu. Enraged, Chen Ping'an's eyes turned red as he glared at the strange man. The stranger warned Chen Ping'an not to do anything weird and asked him to stay away. Exhausted, Chen Ping'an mused that the 3,000 points had made his hands feel useless. Later on, he thought about finding a place to teleport back. When he was told to wait, he turned around, expecting the army to have arrived quickly. Instead, he discovered it was only Zhu Xiaoming and asked what was wrong. Zhu Xiaoming inquired if the technique Chen Ping'an used was the Buddhist palm and whether he could have the book or even just a copy of it. Chen Ping'an offered to teach Zhu Xiaoming if he was interested in learning it. Considering using the gun to defend himself, Chen Ping'an was relieved that Zhu Xiaoming had provided him with the book. Chen Ping'an informed Zhu Xiaoming that the martial art was originally a lower yellow grade, but since he had improved it, it became an immortal grade. He resolved that if he was going to lie, he would go all the way. Zhu Xiaoming grew more interested after learning it was an immortal grade and inquired about Chen Ping'an's strength. Chen Ping'an revealed that he was an immortal being, asking Zhu Xiaoming to keep his secret. Suddenly, they were interrupted by the announcement of an approaching asteroid. People began fleeing, shouting that the empire was doomed and that the asteroid brought bad fortune. Zhu Xiaoming grabbed Chen Ping'an and asked him to stop the asteroid. Chen Ping'an assumed Zhu Xiaoming was joking, as stopping an asteroid seemed completely absurd. Embarrassed, Chen Ping'an confessed to Zhu Xiaoming that everything he had told him was a lie, and he was not an immortal being. Reflecting on his deception, he realized he couldn't stop an asteroid. Suddenly, the asteroid shattered above Chen Ping'an. Completely surprised, Chen Ping'an thought he was lucky that someone else had stopped it. Inspired, Zhu Xiaoming encouraged Chen Ping'an, telling him he was strong. Seizing the opportunity, Chen Ping'an decided to deceive Zhu Xiaoming further by claiming he had simply pointed his finger, and the asteroid exploded. He then elaborated, saying he used his mind to make the asteroid explode and didn't even need to lift a finger. Impressed, Zhu Xiaoming praised Chen Ping'an. However, Chen Ping'an sighed and dismissed the praise, telling Zhu Xiaoming that it was all common sense to him. Panic ensued as another asteroid threatened to strike. Hearing terrified screams, Chen Ping'an and Zhu Xiaoming braced for impact. Desperate, Zhu Xiaoming asked Chen Ping'an to stop the asteroid and wished him luck. Chen Ping'an's jaw dropped, realizing he had pushed his luck by lying and was now facing certain death. He told Zhu Xiaoming that the asteroid was moving and nothing was happening. Nervous, Chen Ping'an wondered why the power to blow off the asteroid wasn't activating. Curious, Zhu Xiaoming asked what Chen Ping'an meant. He then observed that the fire surrounding the asteroid was massive and its destruction would be incomparable to the last one. Chen Ping'an inquired about what would happen next, to which Zhu Xiaoming admitted he had no idea. Perplexed, Zhu Xiaoming remarked how strange it was that the asteroid had caught fire and ignited. Chen Ping'an explained that the asteroid was falling so quickly that it burned due to friction. Zhu Xiaoming then had a realization. Anxious, Chen Ping'an considered that if no one stopped the asteroid, he could simply teleport Zhu Xiaoming with him. He asked the child what he understood. To his surprise, Zhu Xiaoming emitted qi, which left Chen Ping'an wondering what the child had understood. Puzzled, Chen Ping'an pondered the kind of understanding Zhu Xiaoming possessed. He realized how strange it was that people became enlightened simply by exchanging words with him, questioning how such coincidences occurred all the time. Shocked, he started to believe that he might be the only one who didn't know about cultivating. Zhu Xiaoming was meditating when he suddenly opened his eyes. He realized that his trampled spiritual fire root only needed a small amount of spiritual energy to begin working, and, surprisingly, he made a breakthrough in accordance with Chen Ping'an's instructions. Grateful, Zhu Xiaoming thanked Chen Ping'an for his guidance. However, their conversation was abruptly cut off by an asteroid that exploded above them. Chen Ping'an turned around, confident that the asteroid problem had been resolved, while Zhu Xiaoming thought Chen Ping'an had let the asteroid fall for a while to give him some guidance. Chen Ping'an then told Zhu Xiaoming that an asteroid of that caliber was nothing for him, and Zhu Xiaoming was left impressed. Nonchalantly, Chen Ping'an mused that it was a small matter and that he had simply improved his luck. Just then, a strange voice called out to Zhu Xiaoming, and he realized it was his father, the Dan Wu Prime Minister, Zhu Yingping. Worried, Zhu Yingping asked Zhu Xiaoming where he had gone and urged him to follow him, as the area was dangerous. Zhu Xiaoming introduced Zhu Yingping and Chen Ping'an to each other, telling his father that Chen Ping'an had destroyed the two asteroids and informing Chen Ping'an that Zhu Yingping was Dan Wu's Prime Minister. Expressing his gratitude, Zhu Yingping thanked Chen Ping'an for protecting his son, saying that he couldn't imagine someone as young as him possessing such terrifying strength. Chen Ping'an assured Zhu Yingping that he had a friendly relationship with his son and that the asteroid had disappointed him, so he had caused it to explode. He then realized that he was still not in his right mind, as he was still lying to Dan Wu's Prime Minister. Confused, Zhu Xiaoming noticed hostility brewing between Chen Ping'an and Zhu Yingping. Suspicious, Zhu Yingping assumed Zhu Xiaoming had been lied to because Chen Ping'an appeared to be in the nascent soul stage. Insistent, Zhu Xiaoming grabbed his dad and told him that he was not being lied to and that he had witnessed Chen Ping'an stopping two asteroids with his own eyes. He added that Chen Ping'an had even assisted him in breaking through. Surprised, Zhu Yingping thought that Chen Ping'an seemed like a true master, unlike the scammers they had encountered before. before, who weren't able to help Zhu Xiaoming break through. He then realized that his earlier attitude had offended Chen Pingyan and worried about what he should do if Chen Pingyan became angry. Chen Pingyan, sensing the situation, realized that if he let them keep talking, the kid might not believe him. He then told Zhu Xiaoming that he wanted to learn martial arts and that he would return the book to him if he could do him a favor. Anxious, Chen Pingyan reasoned that he needed to hurry while the effect was active and collect as many points as possible. Enthusiastic, Zhu Xiaoming told Chen Pingyan that anything was possible, and he would do whatever he wanted. Chen Pingyan explained that all he needed to do was tell him that he liked him, and his luck would improve. Without hesitation, Zhu Xiaoming agreed. As Chen Pingyan began speaking, Zhu Xiaoming eagerly told him that he liked him. Baffled, Zhu Yingping wondered if it actually increased luck and thought the scene appeared to be a scam. Chen Pingyan and Zhu Xiaoming continued for quite a while. Eventually, the system appeared, stating that 4,000 points had been gathered. Satisfied, Chen Pingyan told Zhu Xiaoming he would take his leave, as he was not able to boost his luck anymore, and promised to send him the martial arts skill book the following day. He then claimed that being seen by others was embarrassing and that it was time for him to leave. Hoping for a quick return, Zhu Xiaoming mused that he wished Chen Pingyan would arrive early the next day so he could learn that incredible skill. Eagerly, he ran towards Chen Pingyan, only to realize that he hadn't given him their address, and worried about whether Chen Pingyan would be able to find their house. Zhu Yingping called out to Zhu Xiaoming, telling him to slow down. As they caught up to Chen Pingyan, he suddenly vanished, leaving them to wonder where he had gone. Meanwhile, Chen Pingyan arrived home, mumbling to himself that it was a good thing he left quickly, as luck can be difficult to explain. He then called Xiao Linger to inform her that he had bought food and snacks for her. Upon hearing this, Xiao Linger, with food on her face, realized that Chen Pingyan had returned. Subsequently, Zhang Yuxin offered Chen Pingyan some papaya. However, he scolded Xiao Linger instead, telling her to wash her hands and that she was not allowed to eat anymore. Blushing, he also advised Zhang Yuxin to eat less. Curious, Zhang Yuxin asked if Chen Pingyan didn't like it. Flustered, Chen Pingyan began to stutter and hastily left the room. In the meantime, Xiao Linger sneaked up behind Zhang Yuxin, accusing Chen Pingyan of being mean and wondering how Zhang Yuxin could keep eating. Later that morning, Chen Pingyan tried to calm himself down, thinking he should be used to Zhang Yuxin's seduction by now. As for the events of the previous day, he found it hard to decide where to look. Soon after, Zhang Yuxin inquired if Chen Pingyan had something on his mind. Embarrassed, Chen Pingyan stood up and announced that he was going out and might return later that night. As he was leaving, Zhang Yuxin stopped him, pointing out that he had something on his face. Puzzled, Chen Pingyan looked at her. She leaned in closer, removed the food from his face, and then kissed him on the cheek, assuring Chen Pingyan that it was all gone. He blushed and shouted that he was leaving before running away. As he ran, he thought that Zhang Yuxin was too direct and would take the initiative sooner or later. However, he realized that it wasn't the first time. Chen Pingyan stopped, recalling a similar situation and thinking that Zhang Yuxin might be the same as his wife on Earth. Meanwhile, Zhang Yuxin murmured to herself that she had already imposed a restriction, and the kiss had only broken a portion of the seal, sensing that time was running out. She then issued orders to the firebird and the dog, who already knew what to say. Without hesitation, the firebird and the dog quickly obeyed. After a while, Chen Pingyan noticed the dog and curiously wondered what he was doing there, as well as why he had a bird on his head. To his surprise, both the dog and the bird replied that they were waiting for him. Bewildered, Chen Pingyan asked them if they could talk. In response, the bronze sword began to transform and reassured Chen Pingyan not to worry, as they could actually speak the entire time. At this point, Chen Pingyan realized there was another. The bronze sword informed him that he was afraid of him, so he said nothing and remained silent, to which the dog agreed. Gradually, the dog told Chen Pingyan that after getting to know him, he feels that he is kind and easy to talk to. Still confused, Chen Pingyan thought that the dog was a monster and wondered if a strong monster like him had just said that he was scary. He believed that only immortal weapons could change form, and subsequently realized that the broken sword he had picked up earlier was, in fact, an immortal weapon. He then mumbled that he had always known about it, but because he considered himself mortal, he chose to remain ignorant. Chen Pingyan further thought that his character still had a bug that made others believe he was God. He then told them that they needed to revert to their true forms and return home so that he could come up with new nicknames for them. Following his instructions, the dog and the bird reverted to their original forms as phoenixes and black dragons, respectively, and greeted Chen Pingyan. Astonished, Chen Pingyan wondered how broken that bug was. Seizing an opportunity, the dragon asked Chen Pingyan if he was going to the peace sect and offered him a ride. The phoenix retorted, accusing the dragon of cheating. Fuming, the bronze sword advised Chen Pingyan to ride a golden sword instead, asserting that people who fly on swords are much cooler. Finally, the dragon flew and laughed, asking them to give way because they were too slow. Meanwhile, in the peace sect, King Xuan asked Grandpa Murong why he hadn't informed Chen Pingyan about the marriage. Grandpa Murong responded that the marriage wasn't worth Chen Pingyan's time, and besides, he probably already knew it was his choice whether or not to come. Furious, King Xuan yelled at his son to show his face if he was looking for a wife. The man responded that there was nothing good about it, and he didn't want to be there anyway. He then informed King Xuan that he was not interested in Mirong-su. Subsequently, King Xuan told his son that they had both grown up together and asked if he thought Mirong-su was interested in him. Mirong-su then comforted King Xuan's son, wishing him luck in finding a wife and saying that she would go find a seat for the show. Zhen Zhao called Mirong-su to sit next to her. Feeling dejected, the man wondered why. King Xuan comforted his son, telling him that Mirong-su meant he had been beating around the bush, and ever since she was young, she had always thought of him as a brother. His son retorted that he didn't care and didn't want to get married. King Xuan then informed his son that the banquet had already begun, and all these people had arrived. He asked how he intended to end it. Zhang Daling stood up and told his father that it wouldn't be hard to stop the banquet. He made an announcement that if Chen Pingyan said he had to marry someone, he would do it without a second thought. Moreover, he knew how Chen Pingyan acted, understanding that since Chen Pingyan had not arrived today, it implied that he didn't want him to marry. Unexpectedly, he was interrupted when the crowd of people noticed that Chen Pingyan was riding a dragon. Grandpa Mirong and King Xuan greeted Chen Pingyan's arrival. Chen Pingyan told them there was no need for the greeting and asked why there were guests. King Xuan responded that it was because he was looking for a daughter-in-law. He believed that Chen Pingyan wanted to choose his daughter-in-law. Chen Pingyan mused and asked who Zhang Daling chose. King Xuan interrupted, saying he was waiting for Chen Pingyan to choose the bride. Zhang Daling then thought that King Xuan might have purposely picked the time to make him look like a fool. Chen Pingyan mumbled that he didn't want to be involved and told them it was Zhang Daling's marriage, and he should make his own decisions. Feeling relieved, Zhang Daling realized that Chen Pingyan wasn't there to choose a bride for him but to help him. Grandpa Mirong and King Xuan believed that Chen Pingyan meant the women there weren't suited to be Zhang Daling's wife, and that he would meet his soulmate soon. Zhen Lengxiu muttered that Chen Pingyan arrived just as Zhang Daling finished speaking. He told Zhen Zhao that now was her chance since no one there was suited to be Zhang Daling's bride. Determined, Zhen Zhao clenched her fist and thought it was all or nothing. She then confessed to Chen Pingyan that she liked Zhang Daling and hoped Chen Pingyan would let them get married. Chen Pingyan was perplexed and assumed that since she had asked, he would simply assist her. He informed them that he had seen Zhen Zhao before and that she was good. Grandpa Mirong and King Xuan thought that Chen Pingyan wanted the bride to choose. Chen Pingyan then asked Zhang Daling how he felt since she had confessed her love in front of everyone. Stunned, Zhang Daling realized that Chen Pingyan wanted him to choose for himself because it was his wedding. Zhang Daling thanked Chen Pingyan for his guidance and told him that he would engage in a relationship with Zhen Zhao. Blushing, Zhen Zion also expressed her gratitude to Chen Pingyan. In response, Chen Pingyan told them there was no need to thank him, and he observed that Zhen Zhao seemed interested in him as well. Relieved that his advice hadn't been rejected, he felt confident that things wouldn't get messy. Chen Pingyan then asked them not to come to the alchemy room since he had some business to attend to, and they agreed. Later, while Chen Pingyan was making a pill, he remembered that Brother Wan had informed him of an alchemy contest in the imperial capital in half a month. During that time, all the master alchemists scattered around the country would return. Consequently, Chen Pingyan reasoned that the competition would be the best way for him to gain the approval of the entire sect. But first, he needed to refine a 6th grade elixir pill in order to compete. Confident that he could rely on the system to provide him with an infinite number of spiritual powers to refine the elixir, Chen Pingyan was taken aback when he noticed something strange outside. He recalled that the skies had been clear earlier and wondered how they had changed so quickly after he began his alchemy. A massive thunderbolt spooked the people inside the sect, and King Zion believed the thunderstorm was heading toward the alchemy room. Zhang Xiafeng presumed that Chen Pingyan's alchemy might not have worked. Indeed, a huge thunderclap struck the alchemy room, destroying the structure. Unexpectedly, 2 pills landed in the direction of Zhang Daling and Zhen Zhao. Zhang Xiafeng assumed Chen Pingyan had not brought a gift, so he specially refined some elixir pills for them. Grandpa Mirong advised them to eat the pills quickly to avoid delaying Chen Pingyan's kindness. After ingesting the pills, Zhang Daling and Zhen Zhao activated a body or a shield, and it was announced that the Peace Sect had 2 immortal seedlings. Zhang Xiafeng and Zhen Lengxiu assumed Chen Pingyan was satisfied with the engagement. Meanwhile, Chen Pingyan stood up, lamenting his bad luck that the elixir pills had been destroyed by the thunder. He was perplexed when he saw Zhang Daling and Zhen Lengxiu kneeling and thanking him. Chen Pingyan informed Zhang Daling that he had only assisted them a little and that there was no need for him to kneel, so he asked him to stand up. He then assumed that Zhang Daling and Zhen Zhao had finally found their soulmates after talking for a while. Chen Pingyan had an idea that, since there were many people around, he should try to gain some points. He made an announcement, telling the crowd that meeting each other must be fate and that he had a secret method to increase luck. The crowd thanked Chen Pingyan, and he explained that the rules were simple. When he asked, they would just respond with "I like you." Zhang Lengxiu suddenly realized that he had heard about the secret. Meanwhile, Chen Pingyan asked the crowd if they liked him, to which they responded affirmatively. Numerous points emerged, and Chen Pingyan subsequently informed them that the secret method had reached its limits, urging them to stop. He then contemplated that it was time to leave, and as their senior, he wouldn't be able to boost their luck. Curious, Chen Lengxiu inquired if Chen Pingyan had visited the Danwu Empire recently. Chen Pingyan retorted, questioning whether he should have informed anyone and how Chen Lengxiu knew about his trip to the Danwu Empire. Chen Lengxiu then implored Chen Pingyan not to be angry, revealing that he had just learned about 2 asteroids that had fallen the day before in the Danwu Empire. Moreover, he had discovered that Prime Minister Zhu mentioned a master who performed a secret technique and saved everyone. Chen Pingyan instructed Chen Lengxiu to get up. Grateful for his forgiveness, Chen Lengxiu assured Chen Pingyan that if his presence would hinder Chen Pingyan, he would willingly never set foot in the Danwu Empire again. Chen Pingyan reassured Chen Lengxiu that his actions in Danwu were not a significant issue. Consequently, he realized that since he would eventually become Zhang Daling's brother-in-law, he should behave better. Chen Pingyan suggested to Zhang Lengxiu that it would be more convenient if he could deliver the book for him, as he happened to have something to give to Prime Minister Zhang and it would save him a trip. Zhang Lengxiu agreed, pledging to dedicate himself to the task. Chen Pingyan then informed everyone that he would leave first and asked them to continue enjoying the banquet. He suddenly remembered that although the pills had gone missing, the procedures had been followed correctly. Chen Pingyan then rode the dragon, deciding to return and purchase a furnace for alchemy. Zhang Lengxiu bid farewell to Zhang Xiafeng, who instructed Chen Lengxiu not to delay Chen Pingyan's request and proceed to the empire. With that, he took flight, contemplating that if his predictions were accurate, the Danwu Empire would soon experience significant changes. Chen Pingyan mused that he needed to go to Danwu right away, and considering that the Black Dragon does not reveal himself easily, he knew he needed to protect himself appropriately. Scrolling through the system, he decided to take the AWM rifle as it cost exactly 10,000 points. After testing the rifle out and making a hole in the mountain, he kissed the rifle, mumbling that he wouldn't be afraid of Danwu's army with it. Realizing it was time, Chen Pingyan decided to apply for the competition in Danwu. Observing this, the dog mused that it was a terrifying weapon, and with that much power, he wouldn't dare to provoke. Eventually arriving at the Danwu Empire, Chen Pingyan tied the dog. He then noticed the guy who bothered him last time and wondered what had happened. Suddenly, a stranger interrupted, claiming that the former emperor did nothing wrong, and that the new emperor had only recently discovered 300 of the general's family crimes. Curious, the stranger asked Chen Pingyan where he was from and wondered how he was unaware of the Danwu Kingdom news. Chen Pingyan informed the stranger that he was a foreigner and inquired about the situation. The stranger then sincerely asked if he knew about the 2 asteroids that had appeared half a month ago. Chen Pingyan confirmed that he did. The stranger went on to say that the asteroids were a legendary disaster, and that one of them had fallen in the Prime Minister's house, prompting the former emperor to want to oust the Prime Minister. However, the asteroid attracted the attention of Emperor Jinyu. After stopping the assassin sent by the former emperor, Emperor Jinyu formed an alliance with the Prime Minister, promising to lend him soldiers to exact revenge on the former emperor. Chen Pingyan was surprised to learn that Emperor Jinyu was Zhang Daling's father-in-law, and he wondered if it was because he had helped deliver the book. The stranger then informed Chen Pingyan that the imperial forces had overthrown the former emperor, and that Prime Minister Zhu had taken advantage of the situation and become the new emperor. Chen Pingyan pondered the fact that he had only asked Chen Lengxiu to deliver the book, not to cause such a commotion. At that moment, another stranger joined the conversation and complimented the stranger's knowledge, after which he inquired about the recent genius who had appeared in Danwu. The stranger responded that he had asked the right person and revealed that the Zong sect had recently received a peerless genius. Intrigued, the other stranger asked him to share the information quickly. The stranger then informed him that a month ago, he had seen someone who did alchemy like he was cooking and even improved the recipe on the spot. Anxious, Chen Pingyan wondered if they were talking about him. The other stranger asked if he knew the genius's name. Upon hearing the response, he learned his name was Zhen Danteng. Chen Pingyan thanked Zhen Danteng for letting him borrow his name. Subsequently, the man grabbed Chen Pingyan and told him that if he didn't know about his idol, he could inform him. However, Chen Pingyan declined, stating that there was no need since he already knew. Shortly after, Brother Wan called Chen Pingyan, urging him to hurry and informing him that he had already registered his name. Chen Pingyan greeted Brother Wan and bid goodbye to the 2 strangers, leaving them stunned. Visibly upset, the other stranger inquired if the man had previously seen Zhen Danteng. The man, heartbroken, muttered that he was close to him but couldn't recognize Zhen Danteng, realizing his chances of getting his signature were nil. The stranger recognized Zhen Danteng as the person he had predicted in the immortal world and warned him not to disappoint him. Later on, Brother Wan informed Chen Pingyan that he had something to do and asked him to go on first. Chen Pingyan assured him that everything was fine and told him not to worry if he was busy. He then realized that there were too many people, and this time the competition must have attracted a lot of talented individuals. Wan Ziajan called Chen Pingyan to thank him for the elixir pills, which enabled her to break through and enter the competition. Confused, Chen Pingyan asked who she was. Wan Ziajan yelled at him and reminded Chen Pingyan that she was the one who guided her through the kingdom and informed her about the competition. Chen Pingyan suddenly realized that she was a girl. She then informed him that her hair was cut short due to an accident while practicing alchemy. Chen Pingyan apologized and admitted he shouldn't have reacted that way at the time. Wen Ziajin told him that it didn't matter, adding that her father told her that his alchemy skills were good and asked him for a match in the competition. She also mentioned that if he lost, he would have to promise her something. At the competition grounds, the announcement came that the competition had officially started. Chen Pingyan eagerly grabbed a handful of herbs. The stranger mumbled to himself, emphasizing just how big of a deal Chen Pingyan was. Curious, Zhen Kuang asked Zhu Yingping about the man next to Chen Pingyan, wondering if he was the young and famous alchemist. Zhu Yingping replied that he had not heard of him, and that he wasn't on the list of registered alchemists. Brother Wen chimed in, informing them that he had seen the man chatting with Chen Pingyan in front of the registration office, and thought that he must have come because of Chen Pingyan. Chen Pingyan's every move was incomprehensible to Zhen Kuang. Meanwhile, the strange man thought that although it was just a game, his dignity as an immortal wouldn't let him lose. He apologized to Chen Pingyan as he was about to go first but was interrupted when he saw Chen Pingyan. Chen Pingyan inquired as to what was wrong. The stranger wondered if Chen Pingyan had already made an elixir pill, to which Chen Pingyan responded, not quite. The man clenched his fist, thinking that since Chen Pingyan went before him, it didn't affect his competition rank and that his elixir pill was unquestionably of high quality. He proceeded to infuse spiritual ki into the furnace, pure enough to forcibly enhance the pill rank. The stranger then readied himself to perform the thunder tribute. However, he noticed something strange. There was only one pill in his furnace, so he wondered how it could attract a massive thunderstorm. Realizing that the strength of the thunderstorm could destroy his elixir pills, he quickly cast a ki shield. To his surprise, the thunderstorm struck Chen Pingyan's furnace. 2 pills emerged from the broken furnace, which Chen Pingyan caught and muttered that the thunder elixir pills were refined well, and none went missing. The stranger asked Chen Pingyan if the thunderstorm was from him and wondered if it wasn't his first time. He then inquired if Chen Pingyan had already made an immortal pill. Puzzled, Chen Pingyan believed that he had indeed made an immortal pill. According to the book, however, nothing mentioned using spiritual grass to make an immortal pill, or perhaps he didn't understand the alchemy methods. The stranger muttered that his alchemy skills were inferior to those of a mortal. Depressed, he asked himself if he was dreaming. Chen Pingyan reassured the crowd that they didn't need to be surprised, as it was just normal actions. A system message appeared, stating that the host had completed the mission and rewards would be given when there were fewer people. Chen Pingyan felt relieved that he had finally finished. Upset, the stranger yelled that he had also made immortal pills and wondered why there was no thunder, cursing the gods. Suddenly, thunder struck the stranger. Chen Pingyan claimed that the stranger was either crazy or a masochist and that it was better to stay away. The stranger asked Chen Pingyan to stop pretending, as he understood that he could not be mortal with alchemy skills beyond his reach. He told Chen Pingyan that under the skies of Mochu, there was an immortal realm. All he wanted now was for Chen Pingyan to show him his methods and inform him of the kind of existence he had lost to. Chen Pingyan believed that the man was an immortal and that it would be difficult for him to detect other people's ki because he lacked a cultivation base and a spiritual root. He then informed the immortal that he was already aware of his cultivation base, and that simply exchanging information for his identity was insufficient. Anxious, Chen Pingyan assumed that the immortal must be powerful because even the black dragon did not react. Chen Pingyan informed the immortal that they would first discuss his purpose. The immortal notified Chen Pingyan that he was greedy. He then considered getting to know the immortal first, and if it turned out that he had malicious intent, the black dragon would deal with him. The immortal stated that he descended to the lower realm because he had heard rumors of a genius appearing in the Danwu kingdom, and wanted to bring them to the immortal realm to cultivate. He thought the genius was Chen Pingyan, but he appeared to be stronger than him, and he didn't understand why Chen Pingyan was there. Chen Pingyan considered what the immortal had said, concluding that it had to be an opportunity. He then thought about Zhang Yuxin and Xiao Linger, and that if it weren't for them, he would go to the immortal world. He then remembered Brother Wan's assistance in making his mission a success, and wanted to seize the opportunity to repay him. Chen Pingyan informed the immortal that the genius he was looking for was in the Zhang sect, and that if he stayed for a while, he would definitely find him. The immortal doubted Chen Pingyan, who assured him that he would not lie to him. The immortal was overjoyed and informed Chen Pingyan that he would stay. He grabbed Brother Wan's hand and asked him if he didn't mind if he might disturb the sect master. Brother Wan agreed to the immortal as he was the one who descended after all. Chen Pingyan reasoned that the Zhang sect would have an immortal for a while, but whether he takes advantage of this is up to him. The immortal asked Chen Pingyan if he could reveal his cultivation base now that he had revealed his intentions. Surprised, Chen Pingyan thought that if the immortal could just forget about it and not force him. He then told him that what he didn't realize was that those who can see his strength will see it, and that he is unable to see it yet, but that if he works hard enough, he might get a chance. The immortal was stunned and mumbled that his time hadn't arrived. When Zhen Kuang first saw Chen Pingyan, he was surrounded by Dao Ziyun. But on that day, he could only see the nascent stage. Chen Pingyan nodded and mumbled that he appeared to understand. Chen Pingyan was depressed, thinking that it was finally over, and that if the visual malfunctions occurred, they would be fixed sooner or later. He then informed them that he would be leaving now that his business in Danwu Kingdom was over. Chen Pingyan told the Black Dragon that they'd get going, and the Black Dragon transformed. He then told them that if fate allows, they would meet again. Chen Pingyan then realized he had spoken too much and that it was time to leave. He wondered how the dragon willingly transformed into a dog despite the fact that he was stronger than him. The immortal then wondered what kind of existence Chen Pingyan was. Brother Wayne consoled the immortal, telling him that Chen Pingyan was an invincible existence above all immortals, and that the dragon beside him was powerful, and he asked him not to overthink. Zhen Kuang added that the peace sect's leader saw the divine beasts and immediately kneeled. He then asked the immortal how he met Chen Pingyan and if he descended because of Chen Pingyan. The immortal responded that he met Chen Pingyan at the registration and also happened to hear people say that a genius had appeared in the Zhang sect. Zhen Kuang muttered that there are a lot of coincidences in the world, and that Chen Pingyan was definitely waiting for him. He then told Brother Wan that he was lucky that the Zhang sect has a lot of immortals on board and that their future would be promising. Brother Wan retorted that he had no luck and that it was all Xiao Jun's luck that he met Chen Pingyan. As she was the reason he was lucky, it is unfortunate that she will suffer from lovesickness. The immortal inquired if Xiao Jun was the one who made the upper rank elixir